sorry. Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Talk. Man, that's fast as yet, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm still playing with this StreamYard stuff. Me and this button we're having issues on timing here. One day it's 2 seconds, one day it's 8 seconds, one day it's 30 seconds. You're like, what the hell's going on here? Maybe just a computer. But anyway, welcome to Paranormal Talk. We're actually going to carry over from last week's show. We were talking about anomalies and pictures and weird shit and other weird things that people see and what's good investigation, what's not a good investigation, what the hell is an EVP, and why should it be trusted for anything? I mean, I hear EVPs all the time, and sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds interesting. And sometimes I'm like, what the? Really? You actually hear something in that? But anyway, I'm going to turn this over to Michelle, and y'all can do the rounds, and I'll be back in about 45 or 50 seconds. Oh, and then welcome, Seraphine. All right, let me shut up.
Hi, Seraphine.
Hey.
Hey, Sarah.
Hello. Well, if y'all joined us last week, then you'll know that we shared up a lot of pictures. And if you didn't join us last week, shame on you, because you probably missed a lot of really great stuff. So I'm sure we're going to have a whole slew of new pictures to show, and maybe we'll reflect on a little bit from last week also. But essentially, we're talking about pareidolia and what people see in photographs and EVPs, because believe it or not everything is a Class A EVP. So it doesn't all make sense. And it's almost like circling something, in a picture. If you almost have to, some researchers believe that maybe there isn't something there. However, we don't all think that. But again, with some EVPs, they tend to be very difficult to decipher. So how do you know for sure what they say? It's easy when we see it on television and you see the words come across the screen, but it makes it very suggestive, because I have listened to voice recordings personally where, the people sending it to me think it says one thing, and when you go in there and clean it up, it says something entirely different. And what I mean by cleaning it up is taking a few layers off of it and trying to just get some of the background noise out, which makes it also, you have to be very careful. It makes it a bit sketchy, because you could literally take the whole recording out without even realizing it. So who wants to go first?
Okay.
Don't all jump at once, man.
I'll jump in.
Oh, sorry, I'm posting.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm already talking. I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Lee Potvin. I'm the host of the Angel Rock, which is going to be up following probably this show, depending on how late we are. Tonight, I have Paul Anthony Wallace, and he's written a book. I think it's called Return to Eden. We're going to be talking about, did the human race actually come from aliens and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's on from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm so glad to be here. Love all you guys.
Yes. Oh, do you want me to go there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Introduce yourself.
You guys can check me out tomorrow. Delicious recipe. But as you're going with that part about EVPs and just with stuff that's going on there and all the different devices they have going on that these ghost investigators use all over the place, I always find it sort of interesting and a little bit comical in a way, where, like you say, where somebody sort of gives the suggestive word, and then you don't get to go and listen for yourself because it's a TV show and you know about production and stuff like that. But another one that I find very interesting that I have a hard time believing is the one where they go with the scanner that goes through all the radio channels and goes through there, and then somebody hears a word or a phrase, and they're taking little snippets out of something, and then it creates a word. And with the probability of mathematical probability, there is a way that it could be a word that could be said. And that's sort of really interesting that they prove this, or not prove, but they accentuate this to be like a proven technology in ghost hunting and ghost detection.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Who's next?
Seraphine.
Amelia just threw you under the bus.
You're welcome, beautiful.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Being a star
for you.
Being a star.
Joe here.
But yeah, I'm Seraphine Hurley, and I've been an investigator for quite a while. Whoops, are you all right, Lorley?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Holy cow. Ghosties pushed it over.
which Laura Lee, who's not only my best friend, but my partner in crime, as we say, as we have our show tomorrow night, Tripping the Void, which I've actually been attacked by one of her little friends from her previous domicile. We've also been involved in a couple of things where we've gotten some wicked EVPs, and it's kind of interesting to be involved in all of that and actually have a friend that's involved. We've actually never been in the same room together, but we've had things happen at the same time, which is really super bizarre, including the EVPs.
And our Nagy spirit guide we share.
Yes. And so it's a really Twilight Zone-y kind of thing when you really think about it. But I've had EVPs that are totally, this is way it's going to be, and it's totally clear, Class A. Or you've had the ones from left field that are like, is this even from Earth?
I agree. Had those two.
I think I sent you, Michelle, those EVPs. I sent them to you, and I think I sent them to Michael that we had gotten from calling into a show.
I have to go back and look at those. Amelia.
Oh, now it's, of course, I'm here. So my name is Amelia Pisano. I was trying to stay in the background with all these lovely hosts and all of their years of experience. I'm a remote viewing medium who primarily worked in crime, cold cases, and missing children until I met the amazing and incredible Michelle DeRoche. And now I am the lucky winner of being the other side of the outer realm with Michelle DeRoche and myself on Wednesday and Thursday nights at 9:00 Eastern time.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
Joe's
And
next, right? Or Michelle, you were introduced. Well, everybody introduced.
sorry, I did what? Sorry.
Tell everybody about you, and then I said, "Well, everybody knows you, right?"
Oh yeah, no, I just sort of going down through the line, but yeah, I am Michelle DeRoche, and again, the other half of the Outer Realm with myself and Amelia Pisano, and co-host of Joe Montaldo on Saturdays on the Gray Zone Uncensored. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You could usually find me kicking around here or there. I'll leave that right there.
I see Michael just popped in.
Michael just popped in, and Joe, we can't hear you. Hey, Michael. How are you?
What a day. I know, my friends got shut out from being Canadian. What the hell is that all about?
I sent you some stuff about Canadian Netflix, though. We were talking about it before the show, me and Michelle.
I know.
They don't like Canadians.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me?
I'm serious.
I'm going to have to leave then because I love Canada. But anyway.
So, Joe, we can't hear you.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if he's talking to himself or if he's talking in the air.
You know what?
So,
Everything's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll do it. Joe says, "Hey, well, I'm Joe Montaldo, and I'm the owner and of UPRN Radio." And
well, we need to let Michael introduce himself.
That was pretty good. I like that. That was pretty good.
okay.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting. There's too many mutes around me these days. There's mute there, mute here, mute here. I forget what I mute half the time. But welcome everybody. Good to have a good panel. The Horsefly Chronicle. Phil and Julie are going to join us after a while, so yeah, nice panel tonight. But
Michael didn't introduce himself yet, though. Joe just popped.
Who the hell's Michael?
What?
We got someone named Mike. Where the hell does this guy come from? Oh, that's that New Yorker guy. Oh, that's a New Yorker guy. I know who the hell it is. Okay.
He's the handsome one under me.
Another Naka. Naka, man. Tell everybody hi, Michael. Yeah. Tell him you love him.
Hi, Michael.
And you miss him.
Hi, Michael. Hi, guys.
Michael's taking donations for Vegas.
I'm on Discovery Paranormal. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'm on Red Pill News. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. we do this show, which is 6 to whatever, every Monday Eastern. And then we do a show on Friday. I never know what the time of that one is. 10 Eastern or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 10 Eastern. You're right. It's 9 Central Time. It's 9. It's not. But we do a panel on each end of the week, guys. So, but the backside panel is politics. The front side panel is always paranormal. So if you're interested in paranormal, this is where you're going to catch the majority of us talking about it. If you're interested in politics or what may or may not be going, and by the way, We talked about the C word last week and did not get banned on any venues. Let me knock on some wood.
It doesn't mean you're going to push your luck.
I'm just saying. Oh, and then I set the burglar alarm off. Sorry about that, guys. Damn, I set the alarm off. That's my fault.
Yeah, that's looking a gift horse in the mouth right there.
So I'm not exactly sure how we pulled that off. But anyway, maybe the powers that be realized, because we were mostly legit. I mean, we tried to be. Anyway, it's tough. But I got a bunch of emails over the last couple of days. Well, of course, I got a bunch of emails about the flat Earth people from 2 different shows now, from both Chasing Prophecy and this other show called The Outer Realm. I mean, Jesus, I give more emails. I'm gonna tell people. I don't know why they don't write to the host. I'll never understand that crap.
We always tell people to send hate mail to you. So
send it to the damn host, people.
Del and I start the new.
What? You're having an affair. What? Wait, what? Yeah, what's this about y'all having an affair? I'm confused now. I thought Laura Lee was your woman. I'm sorry.
Was it hate mail or was it good mail?
Oh, no, it's mixed mail. It's a little bit of everything. One person, I can't even say what the one guy said about flat earthers. You were breaking up there, Mike. You're back now, babe. We lost you. You were trying to tell us about your show about you and Del, but it kept sounding like you were having an affair with Del. It kind of scared me a little bit, I didn't know Del swung them monkeys like that. So.
Joining them in the
cage. Too much time in the cage. Look, you back, Michael? We got you back?
Oh, yeah, I'm driving, so I'm going through crazy areas, Finger Lakes. So I'll be cutting in and out for a minute, but it'll be all right at that.
Yeah, well, if you get too bad, we'll just mute you till you come back. You'll be all right. But anyway, get back to what we were saying. So, since last week, we got a bunch of email on Flat Earth. And that was just for those people's shows, but we got a lot of email about this show last week. And mostly it was pictures of this, videos of that. Now, people. Now, I'm not a paranormal expert by any means, okay? I do ufology, and even in abduction, I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody working in the field. So when you send me these videos that are obviously either stupid or a hoax, don't bother me, please. I mean, really, people, some videos, you ever heard the word too good to be true? Well, you know what? That's true a lot of times. And when the damn thing is perfect, I mean, it's flawless, you can pretty much take it to the bank that somebody made it. It's not a real video. So look, I just, raise your standard of evidence, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm saying. For me, I'm a veteran in the field, so I've got 40 years almost in the field, so it's not like something new to me. And especially when it comes to video and audio, and I've worked with some of the best people in the field on both sides. And come on, just up your standards of evidence. Think about what a cop could use in court right off the bat, and then try to top that even, and then you'll be really moving in the right direction. Because really, man, somebody's like, okay, lady, somebody sent me. How can I say this politely? Anyway, there was a gray chihuahua walking on its hind legs with its eyes glowing in the dark. Now, it was a cool video. I'm not going to say it wasn't a cool video. It kind of did look like a little gray walking through the house. But it was obviously a chihuahua. Okay, in case I know people, I own chihuahuas. That's why I figured it out, because I had a big one like that. They could walk on its hind legs. I was like, get out of here. And then my other favorite was... So they got this thing, right, and it's plastered against the window. You're like, what the hell creepy thing is this sliding up the window? It's a spider. So what I did was I took it and superimposed it on the computer. There's a little program I run, and it just came up. Most probable match is spider. And then when I put the spider up, it even figured out what kind of spider it was. I was like, well, that was pretty cool. So, but people, think about it. I mean, it's not that hard now. Like the one, Jeremy, that you sent me, or Jolene, I'm sorry, that you sent me. I have seen that one again. I'll put it up on the screen for people to see. The one where the black and white picture has the woman in color in it. Now, you could say it was a fake and somebody superimposed it, but the original picture is still around. And no one can figure out why this old lady, who even seems out of place in her dress and the way she's dressed, has a different color clothes on. You know what, Rich? You sent me the video. Hold on. I'll give me a second. I'll post it up in a minute. I got to put screen share back on. But these kind of things always freak me out a little bit. One of my other favorites is, so the guy's looking out the window, right? He's just staring out his window over the desert. Beautiful desert scenery, gorgeous view. He's standing out, minding his own business. And you just see him jump back. I mean, literally, he's a big old fat boy, too. He literally jumps back like 15 feet backwards. And you're like, what the hell? Maybe I think maybe it was a roach or something, maybe a spider. Oh, no, when when the kid's got the cameras peeking down out the window, it looks like, at first I thought it was a little gray, but it looked more like a little troll or something running underneath the side of the house. It's a cool pic. I don't know what it is. Is it real? Is it fake? It's not enough information there to really make a firm conclusion on that. And nobody seems to want to give up the tape on it, but it was a creepy picture. Or the one where the gray is playing peekaboo. I love that shit. It's in Mexico City. The kid looks out and you don't see anything. The gray looks in, he looks around.
Yeah.
And the kid looks out and then the gray looks in. I'm like, and neither one of us seeing each other. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's a good video. Bruce, it could be fake. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on, let me see, we're on my personal page, my bald ass head page, News on the Flip Side, UFO Paranormal, iCar, UFO Undercover, YouTube. Apparently, Twitch is still working, which I'm confused about. I mean, not Twitch, Parler is still working. Yeah, Periscope is still working. So I was told, just like Laura Lee was told, it was supposed to end 5 days ago. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But when it goes off, y'all can notify us from Twitter, and we'll see what other Twitter feeds are available for you Twitter users. I'm going to say that politely. You Twit users. But before we get into some of these pictures, we're going to start with where we at. Let's see. Who looks all peaceful? Oh, Amelia looks all peaceful down there. Yeah, there we go. Well, I can't see Seraphine's face. She got this fake face up here. It could be like, as far as I know, she could be making faces at us right now. Ooh. It's no telling. So, Amelia, and all you now, I know you've seen some creepy stuff over the years. If you had
sir.
If you don't you be stirring me, youngin, just because you're a youngin. God damn, you're probably the youngest one in here today. Damn, that's just a scary thought in itself. I'm just gonna let that slide all together.
Yeah, I'm still not old enough to get a vaccine.
Vaccinated. So if you had to say something, if you had to just pick any picture or any video that really just creeped you to hell out, doesn't necessarily have to be the best evidence you've seen, but it just really creeped you to hell out, what would it be?
For me to pick any video, am I supposed to talk about anything I've seen? Anything
you've seen personally. It could be a video, it could be a real life experience. It could be an ugly dog with his ass shaved backwards. It could be anything.
real life experiences have been quite crazy for me, but if it was on film, it would have to be that one, and I believe it was in LA, where you see that type of skinwalker just walking through the sidewalk and then all of a sudden disappear.
That's a good one.
You've seen that one? That one is phenomenal, and it's really hard to dispute and to tear it apart. It's really difficult because it was just picked up by one of the cameras on the street. It wasn't picked up by anybody.
We did a body overlay, and it turned out to be Dell.
There you go.
I think Dell's a lot taller than this thing, though.
He was scooching down.
What's that, Lordy?
I said not when he's in the cage.
Oh, okay.
No, I have seen a couple like what you said that are kind of hairy.
Yeah, and you can see them just walk by parked cars on a main road, and it's one, and it's just the way it's tilted back, the way it's walking, it catches the mirror, the camera kind of thing. It's almost like it knows it was being watched and then gone. And this was just on security footage. This was no one looking for anything. It just happened to pop up. I would say that's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Maybe not the most scary things, but the weirdest. And I believe it was real.
I can tell you the scariest thing I ever seen had nothing to do with aliens or UFOs or anything. It was a fat, bald, naked man coming out of the swamp with a gun and a machete. I was like, I swear, like some out of Deliverance. It's like, what the hell? I didn't even know what I still to this day, 30 years later, I don't know what to think about that image. It's burnt in my head.
Can never unsee it.
No, you can never unsee it. And it was probably one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. It was just plumb scary. But Michael, you up next, babe. Yeah.
Scariest thing I've ever seen? Be like paranormal or not?
Well, it could be whatever you want. I mean, it's just something that really made you think about what the hell did I just see?
Oh, man. I saw a guy walking a cat today in the parking lot of my hotel. I had to take a double take on that one. It was really weird. you don't normally see. You don't normally see a guy walking a long-haired cat. I was like, man, but it wasn't scary. I just feel like reality is testing me sometimes, you know, like. But no, I don't know. Scary,
That's the Matrix
like.
thing, man. Uh, 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 uh. Hold on, Mike. We're gonna come back to you, babe. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You sound like you ran into
people, and that's scary
what the hell?
because people were getting shot.
Okay, Mike, we're gonna come back, babe, because apparently you've run into some wetlands, some scrubs or some shrubs or something. Seraphine, go ahead. We're gonna come back to Mike in a minute when he gets back into some dry land again. Apparently,
Yeah, one of the things that I've actually seen, because I try to dare people to actually scare me, because I'm not unscarable, but it takes a lot to really shake me, let's say, because
just get in the car with me, chick. I'll scare you.
Once you see a lot of, I'm talking paranormal stuff that would probably scare most people, but it doesn't bother me. But one thing that did catch me off guard is I was actually doing research for a different project altogether. You know, you're tootling around, like minding your own business, and you're flipping through pages, and all of a sudden, bam, there's this picture that I've never ever seen before. And it's of this gray alien, and it's a sketch by somebody who's been abducted. It's an artist rendering, and it scared the crud out of me. I'm not even kidding. It scared me so much. Like, I knew within my very core that thing not only is in existence, but that I was to be afraid of it. And I had never, ever had anything scare me that entirely in my entire life until that moment that I was just looking through something for somebody else, and came across that picture, which is it really takes you by surprise when it does happen. I've had a fair amount of paranormal experiences that kind of border on that, but not like frozen to the core scared like that.
It's because some things just get you, and you know, it's weird how some things. Yeah, well, it's weird how some things get, or it's also weird how some things affect people differently too. I notice because we'll be out in the swamp sometime, 14, 18, 20 people, and you stand in this graveyard, and when you get that many people with you, it's not as scary because there's a lot of people around, a lot of movement going on, a lot of other stuff going on. But it is when something happens, it is kind of funny to watch how each individual person reacts. Usually, about half the group is headed for the vehicles. As soon as something happens, I mean, cameras are off, lights are off, they're headed for the vehicles. They just don't even care. They're headed for the vehicles. Usually 4 or 5 of the other ones are headed to whatever it is, and the other 3 or 4 will just kind of stand back there and watch and see what's going on. And there's always 1 or 2 idiots that got to go stick their face or their hand where it doesn't belong. But it's just funny to see how each person reacts and how people handle fear. And it's a funny thing because I've been scared of things before, but usually nothing paranormal, ghosty so much. But we've been in places where, oh shit, you realized you was in trouble, and you was hoping you was gonna get out of there in one piece. Mike, you back, or you? We don't know if you made it back.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
I had to get on top of this ridge over here, man. I don't know. Things like paranormal never scared me. It was more like when you run into stuff, you want to ask questions. And try to, that's the point of being there. I watch these shows that are just all flash, and it's like these people run into something that they say is paranormal, and then they run out of there all scared and screaming. That's ridiculous, man. The reason why you're there is for that.
Be scared, yeah.
That's what not just be scared, but to investigate it to understand why they're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you want to learn everything you can about everything, but still part of it is you want to be scared. I mean, somebody asked me one time, a long time ago, I was one of my very first times I ever lectured, by the way, and they go, "Why do you go back in the middle of the Honey Island Swamp at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning?" And I said, "You want me to be honest?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "Because it's scared of Jesus out of a sane person." Because you're way back there. There's no chance. You're so far back in the swamp. If anything goes afoot, there's no chance anyone's getting to you. Until they might be taking you out in pieces or something.
You're not a ghost hunter though. Like when you go into a situation, like the people that are really into it, like you gotta get into UFO stuff, and that can be scary in of itself because you never know what the hell they're gonna do to you. But like the paranormal thing, people are scarier than ghosts, you know. Unless
I
it's like
agree.
pushing you down the stairs, scratching you, or trying to kill you in some way, or like, you know, possession, or the ones that follow people home. There's all that too. But it's more like when you run into something you want to know. Like I would love to see that full body apparition in front of me and ask some questions and really document it. You know, not just have a picture here, a picture there, or you know, just an EVP. But that's why we do it, is the documentation of the data, really. And it's a thrill, too. I'm not going to lie. I mean, when you're walking around these big 10,000 square foot buildings in the middle of the night, it's a thrill, man. There's just something about it. It's alluring.
Yeah, I always enjoy going, but let's see who is. Wait, I lost I lost
UFOs
everything.
are hard, though, because, one, it's really hard to get a picture of a blob of light in the sky during the day or at night. You know what I mean? It really, it's a very difficult shot, you know. But also, do you really want to meet an alien? I mean, what good could come from it?
I'm with Michael.
You might not necessarily want to meet them when you're out in the swamp or in the middle of something. It's one thing when you meet them
Especially
at
in the
home.
swamp.
I wouldn't want to meet them in the middle of Walmart. But,
Yeah.
I think I've seen aliens at Walmart.
I don't know if I can pull it up before this.
If
I'll try to pull this piece of tape up before it shows it. But
you're an alien and you want to shop indiscreetly, you shop at Walmart because nobody will ever notice you. There's too much other
I
stuff
don't
to
know.
look at.
Some of these guys I think would be noticed even at Walmart. I
Oh
mean, I
my
noticed some pretty
God.
hairy,
They could-
scary stuff at Walmart people.
Yeah,
They
the
could
people
land
at
on
Walmart.
42nd Street, pop the hat. People wouldn't even look at them in New York. There's places that you're not going to get noticed.
Yeah, like
You
Times
know,
Square.
I'm just saying.
Mardi Gras,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, you walk around Mardi Gras, nobody would notice. That's why all the vampires come hanging out.
Especially Mardi Gras. Especially Mardi Gras.
But
Oh, yeah.
there's a piece of tape. I'm gonna have to go find it. It's actually it's like in 2 hours. But we're all out sky watching. We're sitting on Highway 90, about 2 miles from Interstate, about a mile from NASA's front gate, on the edge of the Honey Island Swamp, sky watching. Really, it's a beautiful night, so we all figured we'd go out there and hang out. And we figured we'd try some telepathic experiments on can you make a gray come, go, or stop. Anyway, so you can hear everything that's going on. You can see that the camera's facing the stars looking for shooting stars, so it's just facing up. But you can hear the three people in front of the camera talking, and you can hear three people behind the camera talking. And you hear the conversations quite clear. They're two distinctively different conversations. So you hear the people in the back start freaking out and all this stuff about grades, and they're trying to stop this grade. There's just all kind of shit going on, right? And it's loud. Well, the three people in the front camera just talk and don't hear anything. Obviously, they can't be more than 30 feet apart. I mean, literally, it can't be that far apart. But yet everybody on the front of that camera doesn't hear or see anything. They're just chit-chatting about whatever they happen to have been chit-chatting about, which was nothing of relevance. And the other three are totally freaked out because they managed to stop one grade, and then two more popped up. And then you hear one sounds like they're screaming as they're dragging them off into the woods. But yet the other three still don't hear anything. It's a creepy, weird-ass audio clip because it is free. It's almost as weird as the one when we're out sky watching when the two cops show up and start talking to us while we're sitting there. And they had no idea they were being videotaped or audio taped. And they were in unclothed. I mean, they were in regular clothes, unmarked. That whole scene, that was another whole creepy ass thing. It's weird, and especially to these days, we leave audio on all the time now because you never know who's going to stop you.
Here's an interesting thing I've noticed about EVPs. Not everyone can hear them because I've played plain old Class A EVPs for people. They don't hear anything, you know. So it really is, I think, a level of sensitivity, you know, and that could very well be. I mean, it's just interesting that's going on. Have you guys run into that?
Wait, we got to go. Who's next on the list? Where was I? I got lost in the list. Oh, that's because I got this thing up here. It's confusing me, obviously. Let's turn that off. Oh, yeah, look, much better. That's better. Laura Lee was next. Okay.
Okay, so you're asking about the scariest picture or weird or
Yeah, any events. It doesn't necessarily be a picture.
I have
Anything
a couple of things. One of them, and I'm sure many of you have seen.
and it's not letting Dell out the cage. That does not count.
Yes. It's a video somebody took. It looks like it's in the woods and it's an open field, and there are these super tall legs, and they're walking, and then they're followed by two. It's just legs walking, and they're walking really strange. Like
Those are night walkers. I thought somebody messaged me about those.
Are they? I don't know. I'd never, but they're creepy is what I meant, to see it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you normally see.
And it's like this, right? The way they walk, they kind of go like this.
Yeah,
They
but
can
they
go
got
to the
like
side.
almost billowing, almost looking pants.
It looks like a protractor, right?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, the way
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah,
and
that's
there's no
wicked.
body, there's no head. That was freaky. It wasn't actually a picture, it was video. And then
Yeah.
today I was watching this video somebody put together top 10 teleportation videos, and they weren't like iffy. Like these were really like there's no explanation about them. But there is this one in this top 10 that I don't know if you guys see. I think we've talked about it, where it's on a Chinese traffic cam and this old man's going on a bike and he should have got hit by a van, but something flashes, grabs him, and he's on the side of the road. Now, whatever saves him has a hoodie on, the hands are glowing, and just disappears off the camera. Now, the reason I mention this is one of the people that teleports looks like it has the same type of hoodie, because I've seen this being, whatever it is. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. And it looks like it has some kind of circle on the back of the hoodie. I can't see what it is. And it seems to glow whenever they teleport. That is weird and freaky. Where are they from? What are they doing?
It's crazy.
I put a picture up recently online on Facebook of this girl that's playing in the. I think you guys saw it because you mentioned it. The girl playing like in a play set at some business or whatever, and right next to her is this creepy ghost kid, whatever, And the mom took the picture, and the ghost kid was looking right at the mom, just like really amazing. And it's the feeling, man. It leaves you with a feeling like, wow,
Michael, you made me think of something with that I wanted to add quickly. One of the most touching pictures I've ever seen was a mom wrote into a paranormal group, and she had given birth to identical twin boys, and very sadly one of the twins was lost. So she was in the swimming pool. I think this was last summer, and she was swimming, and there was nobody else but her and her surviving twin. He was about 3 years old, and right in the background it looks like a picture of a little boy, kind of transparent, almost identical to the little boy that's swimming with his mom. It was very strange, but it was beautiful, almost like that our loved ones still stay with us. I thought it was cool anyways.
It's weird.
I didn't think it was weird.
I don't think that was a loved one with that little girl. I think it looked like a demon.
I know, but that's what it reminded me of. Sorry, I don't think it was either.
Yeah, it was bad.
Sometimes the paranormal's not always bad though, right? Like I said, like something like that. Now, I believe the photograph had been examined too to make sure it hadn't been photoshopped. But then again, nowadays with the equipment they've got, I don't think anybody can verify that with 100% authenticity that something hasn't been photoshopped, right?
Yeah, well, it's hard now. Yeah, if it's high def or any of that kind of stuff, it's hard to verify. This picture that's up there right now, that was taken at after the Kennedy shooting. Nobody knows. FBI even looked for this woman. She shows up in color in a black and white photo. It's a very strange photo. Nobody knows what the hell it is.
Time traveling.
It's a weird one. It might have been Laura Lee was time traveling back in the day.
That was me. I wasn't even born.
It could have been. That's what I said. You was time traveling. I didn't say you was.
Well, you know me. I'm not going to show up in gray, in a gray black and white picture.
I was alive when Kennedy got killed. Was I? I think I was 3 years old at the time or something. Damn. Pictures like that always weird me out. But anyway, who was next? Dell was next. That's who was next. I was going to look for the screen, but I see him there. Dell. It's anything scary lately? And you can't say you know who. The puppy.
Okay. No, actually, I sent you a picture there of it was the Three Stooges haunt a house, and I remember this back when I was little or younger, and I remember watching this thing, and it's a comedy movie. But it was the scariest thing I ever saw at that time because it was snapped little images that came across, and it was just like everybody else was laughing at this thing, but it was just this unknown thing. Like all of a sudden something would pop out at a certain second. It was really, really discerning. But there was a whole bunch of stuff that went through this episode. Anyways, that still even sticks to me today about that. But a thing that really sticks to me is as I had an ex-girlfriend back about 25 years ago, and her friends decided to play with dark magic. And this was really sort of really weird because you know what, when people start playing around with things that they don't know the consequences of stuff, and they were doing like summoning spells, seances, and they were having a lot of really weird things. And at the time when I met her, she had a young baby and was ending up with scratches and stuff like that, and they were having things thrown out, but they were encouraging this, figuring that they could make a deal with something. And it was really, really weird that somebody would get that mentality to do something like that. And I think that's a real big danger that people should know, is that until you really actually know, and I don't think anybody really actually does know, but playing around with summoning spirits and stuff like that to gain sort of something or gain perspective into something, you don't actually know who you're talking to. And there's no verification that you can prove that. So that's actually a really scary sort of line to sort of play.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's a
I don't know,
lot.
has anybody summoned any spirits here? Played with dark magic?
Oh yeah, just about everybody I know has at least once or twice. But it's for the how can I say this, for the I guess for the experienced, it's not as dangerous, and there can be benefits to it even. But for the untethered, unexperienced, it can be extremely dangerous. You can find yourself in a place you don't want to be in with no way out, or worse than that, you could become the one that's possessed, or even
Joe, are
worse.
you advocating Satanism?
I'm just saying, be careful if you're playing with dog shit and you don't know what you're playing with. You know, it's like when
Are
because
you
we've
saying if you
talked,
want to be successful in business, you got to submit to the devil? Is that what you're saying? or Judaism? Don't forget about Judaism.
yeah,
Very
Well,
successful.
it doesn't have to be dark. It doesn't have to be dark. It's just playing with the unknown.
well, even,
The
yeah, that's
unknown.
true. Even the unknown magics can get you in trouble. I mean, if you don't know
Like
what
a
you're
Ouija
doing,
board.
yeah, I guess.
Board, man.
Whoa, burglar alarm, red
Whoa,
alert.
there's that
Sorry,
dog.
we have red
Voodoo
alert
dog.
going on. Yes, the voodoo dog is
Voodoo
what that would
dog.
be. You know, voodoo doll, voodoo
Voodoo dog.
dog is what we got now. She is possessed and on fire this time. But anyway, who's up next? Oh, Michelle was up next. I knew we kept Michelle last week.
That's fine.
For myself, the paranormal doesn't really frighten me. I'm not really frightened by a lot of stuff like that. But what I'll tell you, what does unnerve me, I had everybody who knows me or follows me knows I do collect some very different sort of things. And I had in my possession a collection of photographs that were very rare and that were just atrocious to look at, because they were people and they were dismembered people. And it goes back, wartime. And I can't really get into it much more than that. I went on to donate those photographs and that entire collection to a friend of mine in the UK who will make better use out of them, because he does a lot of exhibits and stuff like that to museums. But that horrified me because it makes you realize that what people can do to other human beings.
Mhm.
And that just makes me realize what monsters some people are. So that's probably the one thing that horrified me more than anything, was having to see these photos and the fact that they came to my possession and now I think they're where they're supposed to be. But this happened and these were people once. So I'll leave that there.
Ow. What the hell did I just break? Sorry, guys. I just broke something.
I agree with you, Michelle. That always freaks me out because I had to work on the locked ward when I was in university for nursing. And, I understand that it's mental illness, but these were people that murdered and did all kinds of things. And for good behavior, there were certain people I had seen out on the streets, not having worked there before, that you would never know that that's where they live full time, but they were allowed out. And But just the crimes that are involved and what goes through, you wonder if they're even human sometimes with the things that they can do.
Now, yeah, people are sick. And I got to tell you, I banned a whole buttload of people off my pages for pictures of animals. Boy, hack me off bad.
BC red.
Oh man, somebody sent me all that stuff, and I said, you lucky you do not live in the same state I do. I would whoop your ass right now. Because once it's in your head, you can't ever get it out again. That's there for life. I always figure that kind of person just needs to be, have their ass whipped. Yes, Jack. Yeah, I seen those pictures y'all sent. Yeah, I'm looking at those Norway lights now. It looks like some electricity got crazy across the sky. So I don't know what the hell that is. There's all kind of weird anomalies people catch all the time. It's just some of them are naturally occurring, some of them are God knows what, and some of them are definitely an attempt to be funny or to be hoaxing something along the way. I'm not exactly sure why they're trying to hoax. People want to hoax stuff all the time, but I do say I'd get something hoaxed once or twice a month, or I get a lot of people who like to send me abduction stuff. And I guess they're trying to fool me or something. I'm like, really? I'm like, man, you're kind of wasting your time here with trying to fool me. I'm just, come on, send it to a rookie. My organization is one of the ones that set up the founded basis for abduction research. It's going to be hard to fool me. But still, people want to try. And it's almost a thing for some people that they need to try to fool you. They need to try to make you think. They're legit when they could go out there when they maybe not necessarily have a UFO experience, but there's lots of places to go have paranormal experiences if that's what you really want to have experience. See this picture here? I got one just like this. I took myself on the Mississippi River. I was putting in a new computer system at Touro Hospital. It's one of the other things I do from time to time is I update computer systems, but we were putting in a new computer system on the 7th floor of this hospital at Touro it's the psychiatric department. While we were up there, we caught three of these coming down the river. We caught one, then two, then three, and then it came back and made a little triangle, went up the river for the ways and stopped, and then it came back 1, 2, 3, and they left. It was a really weird thing. A couple other people reported seeing them, but I've seen these reported around the planet. I have no idea what they are. Probably some kind of probe or maybe some kind of energy being released from the earth. You can't, when you start seeing spheres of energy, you can't always just assume they're alien or even paranormal. It might just be Mother Earth hiccuping or burping or farting or something. There is a lot of energy being made in this planet every day, so you can't rule that out. But I don't know.
Well, they call those things, Joe, there when they're looking at from the ISS, the clouds have huge amounts of almost like it's a reverse lightning storm that look like angels that they film, above the clouds that give off a huge amount of light. Let's see if I can find a picture. I'll send you one to you there.
Yes,
they call them angel spheres or angel lights or something like that. And there's lightning above the clouds.
I've actually seen the images before of the lights above them. There's a lot of weird stuff goes on that we have no idea what it is. Hook Island sea monster. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on that we really just don't ever find out what it is. Ooh, this thing looks pretty big. Or is it just an oil slick? What do y'all think? Kind of looks like, whoa, oh wait, that looks like eyes right there. I don't know. It still kind of looks, I don't know what that is.
A giant tadpole. Yeah, it does look like
that. It does kind of look like a giant tadpole. Well, I don't know. What's this way? Wait, what? Oh, something standing behind this guy. Oh, a tall white. Look at that. Damn, somebody got my tall white back there. He even kind of looks like a tall white, too. Somebody accidentally got them a tall white. I'll be damned. Charles Hall. Man, Charles, where you at, buddy? You should get hold of this picture. The Watertown ghost. Is that a ghost right? Ooh, is that a ghost right there? Ooh, is that? What is all these faces in you? See?
It looks like.
Didn't we just talk about faces last week and how they just can pop up?
Well, pareidolia, looks like there's quite a few in there.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming these are the two sailors they're talking about right here, but I see a face here and here and here. And
but in 1924, there would have been film cameras. So unless it's been altered in modern times, the age of computers, if they're saying that these haven't been explained, I don't know.
It looks smudged.
Well, I see more than just two.
Yeah, it looks altered to me personally.
It might be. Yeah, that's the thing.
even that babushka woman, if you look at it carefully and you bring it up, you'll always see a circle of light around her in every photo, because when you're altering something, you alter the pixels, you'll never get it identical. And you can tell that she was placed there to create a myth.
The Black
There you
Knight
go.
satellite. We could do a
There you
whole
go.
show on this.
Oh, this guy.
We could do a
What is
whole show
the
on the
deal
Black.
with this?
Oh, this is
Like
supposed to be a
19?
satellite that we stumbled across back in the day. It's been in space since before we got into space. The Russians and the Americans agree it's at least 12,000 years old. At least
Wow.
12,000 years old.
And I'm amazed no one's tried to bring it down to examine it.
At first, they thought it was just a hunk of junk, and then they realized it wasn't. And then it will evade any attempts to retrieve it.
Guys, I'm going to pop in quickly here. I got to run. I think the show is supposed to be over around 8 or whatever, but I'll try and join you guys after. Okay, so have a good time if I don't see you before.
Evening.
Much love.
I don't know. So you could do a whole show on this. There's been satellite pictures of this taken by other satellites. There's been government things. The Russians and the Chinese have supposedly gotten up close and personal with it. They said the Chinese lost 2 satellites trying to capture the damn thing.
Wow.
And it's fairly big. It doesn't sound like it's all that small. So I was trying to wonder what was China was using to try to capture it. They might have just been trying to get it in their own orbit somewhere they could tuck it away and examine it. But whatever it is, and from time to time, it seems to give off energy. Sometimes it's energy towards our planet. Sometimes it's energy away from our planet, which suggests it's communicating or attempting to communicate with something. See, we don't know if it's something was set here to watch us develop and to contact it when we reach certain milestones, or if it was just something left behind trying to be retrieved.
Well, here's a theory on a lot of stuff that could be aerial and stuff like that. Is that we've all heard of HAARP, we've all heard of Doppler radar, we've all heard of radio broadcasts and stuff like that, where we send a lot of energy into the atmosphere, and maybe a lot of this stuff could be interacting and causing some sort of disturbance that causes flashes.
That's the thing. When you're giving off that much energy, it could be messing around and causing it. But this thing, you can tell it's not ours. It doesn't even look like anything on this planet. It's obviously been up there for a really, 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 really long time.
So does it have its own defense mechanism? Is that why nobody can get close to it?
Apparently it does. Because I know they said that they lost 2 Chinese satellites, and then NASA reported having a satellite repelled. They got too close to it. It wasn't trying to retrieve it. It was just trying to scan it. It was, making an inner orbit, trying to get closer each orbit. And I guess it got it within its range, and it just knocked it. It said the satellite never came back up. And I've had a few friends that I know have seen video clips and all that work for Milan and for Boeing, a couple that work for Lockheed, and it's just, they say the same thing. It's not ours. It's up there. And they say every now and then it seems like there might be 1 or 2 more that are still cloaked, that for some reason or another pop out a cloak every once in a while.
Wow.
They're actually thinking there's 3 of them up there.
So how do they know how old it is if they can't get close enough to examine it?
They're just assuming it's that old. One of the reasons why is, there's some instance, I think it's in the Egyptian hieroglyphs, that talks about some weird anomaly they seen crossing the skies at night. And it would make sense if it was powered up back in the day 6,000 years ago. It would have shown in the night sky in Egypt because there was no, light noise.
Yeah.
So they may have actually seen it. So that's what they're thinking. This thing at least used to be powered up. It doesn't even seem to be powered up anymore, like it's reserving its power, waiting or something. But it's up there, and the governments don't want to talk about it. There have been some people in the government have actually made mention of it, and then of course immediately it's food. But they're like, no. And when Stephen Graham came out, there were several government people who came out and said, no, it exists. It said not only does it exist, it seems to every now and again. They mentioned one time where it seemed to come down in the atmosphere and scan across different places around a planet, and no one knew exactly what it was doing at first, and then they realized it was scanning places like Area 51, Area 53, the Russian secret, and they said it helped America identify some of its enemies, places where they were building top secret materials because it scanned those areas. and places we were not aware of. I was like, well, wasn't that interesting? What's this one? This is a very little information available about this photo. What is this one? Some ghost? Is there a
Copper
ghost in there?
body.
Oh, see the body upside down.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like, is that because again, you're looking at an old black and white picture. So if it hasn't been fudged with it, I mean, is it interdimensional? Like, is it just coming through, or is it really a
Oh,
spirit?
man, they don't leave it on there long enough. I tell you that much.
No, or is it just something hanging from the top that they're trying to
There it is. Yeah.
pull you
I
with?
don't know what. I'm not sure if I would exactly characterize that as a ghost or anything.
It looks like transparent. Like you
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does
see the
kind of.
lines
I guess that's
behind the
supposed to
wall
be
a
a
bit.
hand down here, an arm or something. No, maybe a leg. No, you're right. Oh, so that's the head, that's an arm, and that's an arm, and it's upside down. Okay, I got it. Looks
Yeah.
like a piece of jewelry right there.
Which is odd. Well, that can go either way, really. If somebody
Yeah.
looks like
Well,
they could,
whatever it is does look like it's legitimate upside down because the hair looks like it's hanging and the jewelry looks like it's hanging. But other than that, I couldn't. It
but
does
has
look.
it been superimposed onto
You know,
the
it kind of
picture?
looks like it does because look, it looks like somebody laid the film over and took a second shot. Because look along. Well, here, let me use this. Look right
Yeah.
along here. There's a straight line,
Yep.
and then you
Mhm.
can kind of see throughout it. It looks like something was touching the film.
Yep.
You know what? I would, especially since I would think, yeah, it was rolled through something because it looks like there's roller marks on it as well. I would, yeah, I would think this, and I would think this was done back in the day. Actually, whenever this picture was originally done, I think this was when this was faked. Somebody must have wanted to scare somebody or something. I wouldn't have said it was done later on. It could have been done later on, but it doesn't. Using the technology, I would assume that it was done back in the day.
You just,
Because today, there's better ways of doing it.
you just roll a negative over the other one.
Yeah, that's basically all you're doing, and just taking the picture a second time, which was a common thing, you know, double exposing negatives and stuff. Back in the day, it was a way to do things, but thanks to pixelation, we realized you could find out if that was fake or not. The photo was listed as blank due to extreme light exposure. And what is it? It still looks blank. Oh, I see something right there, and right there, right there. What the hell? That's all. People, what is this? This is another one of these photos. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
A pyramid.
Well, so there's a pyramid on the moon. That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh,
What's this one?
didn't we look at this one last week?
Yeah, this is the one where the guy died and was in the photo. How did he get in the photo? Because he was already dead. You know, there seems to be a lot of those around.
Yeah.
You know, there does seem to be a lot of those photos around where people showed up.
This one's the weird one. This is new. This has been just flying around on.
Whoops, where'd it go? Damn it.
That one's been all over social media again. They made a movie about this, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see, let me go back and find out where we were.
Yeah. She's Canadian from Vancouver.
That's crazy.
You know what's creepy about this is the guy in South America who was faking his cattle mutilations actually hid the cows so they couldn't find them to collect insurance. He actually hid them in the big water towers on roofs of buildings in Mexico City.
How'd you get a cow up there? That's crazy.
Helicopter. They and they did quite a few. Well, cows are worth
a catapult.
Yeah, they were getting $3,800 a head for the cows that disappeared. And these little scranky, they said these cows looked like they had barely even been fed, and they were getting top dollar for them. You know, there was a bunch. Altogether, I think it was like 300 or 400 of them. He said that aliens were taking his cows, and he had pictures of weird lights in the fields and stuff, and what looked like aliens running around. And then somebody somewhere, I guess, got some nasty water, and they went and checked it, and they found 5 of them crammed in one tank. And then they went and checked his property, and Mexican cows.
Oh, cows.
Mexican
cows.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The sad thing
I feel bad for the cows, but I'm about to eat some corned beef, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, I don't either. What's this one?
the young girl that went missing.
Ouch.
And that's the Cecil Hotel. There's actually a series on her death because a lot of things happen at the Cecil Hotel, but it doesn't help that the Cecil Hotel is also in the center of Skid Row in LA. She traveled there from Canada, wanted an experience. She had issues, medication, mental health issues. So they don't know how it happened. And when you see the footage of the elevator, you can see her talking to someone or kind of looking at someone, but
and she's scared, isn't she?
She's frightened, but I also believe that she was on something as well. But they found her body in the water tank, and the only reason they found her body in the water tank, which is really disgusting, is that people were noticing an odor and an off taste in their water because the water tank is above the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles.
Damn.
So they were basically
Don't drink the water.
drinking from rotting flesh.
Yeah, that's
I like bottled
gross.
water myself.
There was a movie done about this also, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, and it was just like the way that they explain it is that, there was nothing. I mean, if she was basically on drugs, let's say, or suffered from a mental health condition, disorder, then you can maybe see why she's looking around and talking to herself. Here's a video clip right here. She looks very concerned, but what adds to this is that they don't know how she got to the water tower. There's no traces of how anybody got her up there.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's what the big thing is how and what put her in the water tower. They can't seem to figure that out.
Two people. That was a murder. Two people clearly could pick her over because they go in there, and she was found to have LSD in her body as well as didn't take her meds for her bipolar, so that causes delusions. And because it's such a low paying rent, let's say for that hotel. They have drug users and shots being fired every day on different floors, and that hotel used to be a really grand hotel. So she sadly passed from foul play, but she was all of like 90 pounds. Really, two men could have carried her and thrown her over. Two women could have carried her and thrown her over.
Yeah,
but
I'm hearing a show behind you guys. Do you hear that? You hear like there's like a TV on or something. There's a show playing.
Yep.
I'm literally by myself in the house with nothing playing.
Yeah, I don't
even have a TV on me for it.
It's like behind you guys. Like there's like a bleed through or something, or see someone's got something on. But you hear that?
I'm in my office upstairs, but it sounds like feedback.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
It's someone talking. Now. It's a show or something.
Oh,
that's right. I don't hear anything. That's weird.
I won't say shit ain't going on around here, but it certainly isn't a television.
It seems to be a weird night because I'm just getting static through everything there now. That's why I've been checking out my internet connection and everything like that. This has been like the weirdest.
Crazy. That's a weird ass night.
Shit gets weird. Oh, we got company joining us in just a second. Shit gets weird. Hold on, let me cue this one up now. I'll bring them in a second. Hey guys, I see y'all down there. I'm gonna drag y'all in just a second. Let me get this.
Hey, Sean.
That's
Phil. Hey, Zach, man.
This just went out now too. That's weird.
No, don't y'all get all weirded out, people.
It's weird. I'm saying. Freaking weird.
Okay,
I don't know, Michael.
Let me add. Hello, Phil, Julie. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Welcome, guys.
How are you?
How are you? Hi, guys.
Somebody else. I heard doop. So how y'all doing? I tell you what, Phil, Julie, why don't y'all tell the audience a little bit about yourselves, how y'all got here, and then we'll let you join in with where we're at right now.
Okay. So we got here because we hit StreamYard, and we're not technical people. Yeah. Open up a little sense of humor. So yeah, my name is Philip Syracuse. I'm the host of Horsefly Chronicles Radio. Julia and I are known for the infamous Horsefly Chronicles haunting that took place 11 years ago and was just resolved back in July that just passed. So we have an extensive background within the paranormal community, and we decided to have guests come on our show that we had for a couple of years and seeing what other people go through and learning and teaching and validating what other people talk about, what we talk about, paranormal phenomenon, and all that good stuff, and how it does exist and it is real. So that's pretty much how we got started. And we're on a long journey to bring the best guest going forward because, quite frankly, I believe that paranormal and science are very close. They're like neck and neck. If we could just bring out the strongest of evidence through the technology that we currently use and have people on our show that also can back it up, I think that, it's the cutting edge with the next few years of people really having an open mind that yes, we are not alone in multiple dimensions. Different things do exist. So that's about me and Julie.
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to have our own show because, we're learning too. We wanted to really learn from everyone that came on our show. It's been a real great learning process for us. We've learned a lot.
Okay, I think the aliens have just entered the studio. That's weird. I heard some weird buzzing going on there. Well, guys, welcome. They're going to be starting next week. They'll actually start airing after this show, guys and girls. So y'all can catch them here. They'll be starting on 7:00 here. So y'all catch them at 7:00 to 8. They'll be opening and closing for this show and opening for Laura Lee on the Angel Rock. So, which Laura Lee's off doing something bad at the moment. We're not going to say what. Something evil and something bad, but she did let Dell out the cage, so that's a plus.
Oh,
Now I noticed though Michelle and Amelia has theirs locked up in the cage. I'm not sure what's going on. You would think with all of being locked out in Canada, you would just let the men out just because they can't go anywhere anyway.
It's a double lockdown.
Anyway. I know it's like a double lockdown.
Some men like being locked up, Joe.
Oh, we're not going there now.
Maybe some fringe benefits with that.
It's all about local jurisdiction.
Yeah,
you gotta think of local jurisdiction, man.
Be careful, Michael. You're not too far. I might come down there and lock you up.
You can't cross the border. What happened?
You'd be surprised. All I have to do is go through Quebec.
We're doing all right down here. Like, believe it or not, New York is like opening everything up. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys like shutting everything down. You're like 3 hours away. Not even
about damn time. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about before we get distracted. We've just been going through different photos.
Let's talk about the ley lines, man. About ley lines.
We'll do that on a whole nother show. Anyway, wait, let me put this. So I like all these ghosty pictures. Hold on, let me see if I can share this one. This one looks fake to me, by the way, but I'm going to tell you.
You know why I say that? Because there's 4 ley lines that intersect exactly where I am right now.
Yeah, and that explains why you're possessed. Explain. So, what do y'all think? Fake, real?
Beautiful.
It looks better over here. It definitely looks like she's passing through the gate because I can see the lines going through the clothes. But is it real? I mean, I like the black and white ones better because it's harder to fake them, but still.
That's a lot of saturation.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't. I didn't see any marks on this one like we've seen on the other one. I don't know. Might be good. See, but I would move. See, I'm not like all you crazy paranormal people who want to go live in the house with the ghosts. I would move. I mean, think about it. My house is built on top of salt. I mean, there's literally 2 feet of salt underneath my house. Ain't no ghosties coming here.
I like those eggs, man. I mean, that's fascinating to me because there's not much that could ever make eggs explode like that and burn up and melt. You have to really send a lot of electricity into those eggs, and they have to be grounded. I mean, I looked it up. That's the only thing that could make an egg explode. And that's like a Tesla coil. We're not talking about some refrigerator electricity or some 110 electricity that went out of whack. Fascinating.
Especially in the refrigerator that's operational.
That's Ghostbusters, man. That was in the scene from Ghostbusters. Those eggs
pretty good.
Exploded.
Phil and Julie, I don't know if y'all seen that. It was one we were talking about last week. They were where the eggs exploded in the refrigerator, actually melted through the plastic on the refrigerator, melted into the plastic on the refrigerator. I still don't know who was super. And why the hell would a ghost want to melt the eggs in the refrigerator? That still didn't make
because they were hungry.
Oh, so we're gonna fry them in the
Obviously.
refrigerator? Oh, okay.
Did they fry up any bacon? Then you really know.
So what is that? Was it temper tantrum? Is that what that was? That's like when ghosts.
No, that's a dense pocket of energy right there. Something that had that much power to do that. I mean, I've met people that told stories about all kinds of stuff, and it's hard for them to document. The guy who told me about his coffee maker disappeared. Not his maker, the grinder. He woke up one day, it was gone. Nobody was in the house. Nobody would have messed with it. He looked for it, searched everywhere, throughout the whole house, even up in his bedroom. Nope, nowhere. 5 days later, it reappeared exactly in the same spot. Boom. And then that's not the only thing. And this, I think I shared a photo with some of you guys of a full body apparition in an apartment. That was this guy's apartment. So whatever he's like attracts this energy like you would not believe. And I had every paranormal experience you could have doing investigations with this guy. Touched, and you smell the flowers. With like his grandmother was into fresh cut roses. We were talking to her and communicating with her. She was the one in the photo, and the whole room filled full of like fresh cut roses. And I don't mean like air freshener or some chemical. This was like beautiful. And we asked if she went to heaven. She indicated yes. I said, "Is heaven beautiful?" She grabbed my hand and held my hand. I'll never forget that. Never. So there's the investigations you do that stay with you forever. And there are people who are magnets for whatever reason,
Yeah, Michelle.
What?
Magnet. Don't even. That's probably poor. Wait. Let's look down here. Poor Julia and Philip down there. Which one of you two are the
let's
magnets?
go after the new kids.
Which one of you two are the magnets? Huh? Which one draws the paranormal to it?
Both are, I guess. But we've experienced that too. Things going missing. That's like the worst.
Oh, see, I got just the opposite. I'll lose shit, and then it'll just show up on the side of my bed or in the pocket or something. I'm like, see, apparently the ghosties like me. I guess y'all are on the bad side with them or something. It's a weird thing though, because I'll lose stuff like at work, and it'll show up at my house. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I have a question for all you there. How would you know this, or how could you confirm this at all? Okay, so say somebody has a near-death experience or some sort of out-of-body experience that they go to some place which they figure is good. Now, there's been lots of stories out there that trickster demons and evil entities give you false stories of something. So maybe they're showing you a vision, like in the Matrix, of something being good, but actually you're roasting alive, burning as you sort of sit there and cook. How would you determine that?
What?
What do you mean? How you verify it? If you were sitting there watching it, I guess you could verify it.
No, you couldn't. You can't prove it at all, right? You can't. You would say that you assumed you were having a good experience, but actually somebody's actually sucking your life force out of you. It's like that whole thing about like the Matrix thing, where you're actually in a little you're a battery for something else, but you're given sort of dreams of something else.
I was in a 14-year relationship that did exactly that, man. And it wasn't some entity. It was a real live demon. Sucked the life out of me, it did.
Michael, I thought you said you gave up demonism. Damn it, man. I thought I had.
They follow you, man. They follow you. They don't give it up. They're there.
Then when they follow you, you call Michelle and Amelia, and they'll get rid of it for you. You see, that's their job.
These demons are persistent.
Now, Amelia said that.
Inviting them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought I'd see marijuana legalized, and it is. Maybe there's things that just we're not supposed to be able to figure out, and it happens anyway or whatever. That has nothing to do with it, but I just think it's cool. That's why I had to say it. I just had to say it. Like if you're in New York, you can walk past the cop and fucking smoke a joint, and there's nothing they can do about it. You can smoke wherever you smoke cigarettes. Dude, I've never thought I'd see that in my life.
I feel sorry for the cop, actually. So I'm just going to say, poor baby.
Blow smoke right in his goddamn face.
Leave a poor baby alone. Why you want to hate on a poor cop? That man here is trying to save your life, man.
Maybe the cop needs a hit once in a while. There are cops are the biggest potheads on the planet. You know how many cops I know they're big druggies? Come on, man.
Part of the job, man.
They don't have the same rules.
Anyway, you keep getting distracted, and I'm gonna put your ass in the cellar.
I am distracted.
I'm gonna put you in the cellar, buddy.
That one's
Jay, I don't know what we were talking about.
we have a cellar in this queue so we can lock down a host when they get out of control. Yes,
funny.
yes, yeah.
If they're bad, if they behave badly, they go in the cellar.
Yes, we put you in the hole in the ground. We lock you down. We lock you
It's
down.
like a timeout.
Yes, we have because we have a few hosts that are insane. So, and sometimes they have to calm down. Like the other day, one of the hosts had too much chocolate, and you know sometimes that happens. They have too much chocolate or too much whatever. We have too much
That would be a
coffee and
joke,
things like
actually.
that. Oh, I wasn't the one with the chocolate the other night. We're not going to mention their
It's
names.
you with the damn
No, the other night
chocolate.
was me. Was me with espresso. Man, I blasted through the roof. I really did. And usually, like, I had ordered these 2 espressos. I dumped them both in a cup of coffee and drank it. Woo!
I always love a good espresso, man. I do. When I was doing a remodel on a coffee shop in uptown in the Quarter, and this girl used to make me a double shot. This thing tasted like a Hershey bar with 2 shots of espresso, and it was great. I was buzzing all day off the damn coffee.
I have 2 of those and a Long Island iced tea.
Because we're going off. First of all, we're completely off topic.
Yes,
but
we're back
anyways,
now.
yeah. We're definitely. You need to Google caffeine because there's less caffeine in espresso than there is in regular coffee.
Just tastes better. Now, see, what is this? Is this a ghost? Is this a person? Is this something just some kind of weird fog floating through the house? It does look like there's a face in it.
This is an old one that has never really been debunked to my knowledge. Been floating around a long time, literally.
No.
And what is with the staircases? I mean, why do ghosties like staircases so much?
She was a bride, and this was actually in the U.S. I can't remember where it is. It's probably around Phil and Julia's area, but she comes and makes herself known every year on her anniversary. A lot of people have photographed her. A lot of people have photographed her.
Well, see, at least that one's consistent. You can see it's kind of like.
Is there a photo of her out there?
I believe she killed herself after her wedding.
Oh, joy!
Yes, that doesn't say much.
That's marriage.
No, but they say that her husband passed away after the wedding, so she wears her wedding gown and looks for him every year on her wedding day. But there are, if you Google it, you'll find many, many photos.
Well, Sean Graham says if you read,
by her.
She's called the brown lady was a defect in the camera with light bleeding through the housing of the equipment. Is it that particular picture, Sean?
See. That's why I don't investigate ghosties. I'll leave the ghosties for everybody else. What is this? Now, what is this thing coming here? Is this a ghost? Is this some kind of demon? Does it look like the Boggy Creek monster? I guess it could be an alien with a suit on. I don't know.
That looks like somebody in a Halloween costume.
It does kind of look stupid
It's
to
got
me.
The hands going on too, the fingers.
Yeah, there's something weirdness about all of that. You get so many of these, and you know, whoever sent me this page, oh, there's the mermaid one. That's a weird one. What's this one? People send me these pages all the time, and you never see what is this just staring at it. That looks like somebody staring out of there, but is it a ghost?
It could be lighting, could be natural.
Could be a piece of wood right there we can't see the backdrop of.
Yeah.
See, that's why I always bring a psychic with me when I go. I'm like, look, psycho. It's psychic. That's what they're there for.
Hey,
so I don't have to be guessing. Yeah. I'm just saying, so I don't have to do guessing all the time.
Oh my gosh! Look at that fishtail. Is that supposed to be a mermaid?
This is ectoplasm. That's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah. So
back in the days of seances, spiritualism.
Victorian, Michelle? Way back?
Yeah, Victorian times. A lot of charlatans back then. Harry Houdini was always trying to debunk this stuff. But ectoplasm was, mediums used to do it through channeling, apparently.
Phenomenal.
So, I got a question. And my fellow ufologists get pissed off at me about this all the time. I'm saying to my paranormal friends. Okay, everybody and your mama now has a phone with a camera. And not even that. Half my friends now have flare kits in their cameras and every other thing, but yet we seem to get far less pictures of aliens, ghosties, and demons than we did just 20 years ago. Why is that? Is digital not as good as film? No one can answer this question, and you can go look online. It's really easy to see. You can just do a search of pictures per year, and you'll see that the last decade or two does not produce the same amount of pictures as the previous decades do. Why?
I know with film, it's harder to debunk. The only way you can debunk it is if it goes to the computer, because you can't fudge the negative. You can overlap negative, but you can't fudge the actual negative, which is why a lot of researchers like the old Polaroid cameras, because it comes out right there.
I tell people all the time, look, use your digital all you want. It's great to have them, but always have analog. And I prefer people to carry 200 or 400 Kodak analog that's in a case that only can be opened by the developers. That way, it's more credible. So
you got to know how to use.
Camera.
You got to know how to use the digital technology, though, man. You know, I mean, film is great, but you know, I'm someone who works in both. I'll tell you, I'll take my 5D Mark IV. It's super sensitive. It has facial recognition. We do investigations. The facial recognition finds faces, man, just floating in nowhere. You know, so there's something to that technology, and you know, you can't kind of dismiss it because it's so accurate. You know, especially now the cameras are coming out with a phenomenal. You know.
Yeah, but that's just more of that making faces out of air because it's found in the pixelations to do it with.
They're going to show themselves. They're going to show themselves. You know, I mean, if you can capture that moment, that's not so easy to do. I've only done it a few times.
The question why we get less now than we used to. I mean, we get far less pictures now than we used to. And when you watch all these paranormal shows on TV, and there's a shitload of them, there's barely ever any real evidence. Oh, the flashlight was across. Oh, the door shut. Give me a damn break, man. You better give me more than a door shutting. I better
what about the famous? What about the famous Amityville horror picture on the second floor of the kid who was murdered? The boy who was murdered in that house, wearing the same shirt, same face, same haircut, everything. And when you look at that picture, it haunts you.
Yeah, it was taken on a timer too. Like no one was behind that camera. It was on a timer.
They alleged all kinds. They even said it was the guy who was like 36 years old wearing the shirt and kneeling down. They came up with every lame excuse there was. All I know is when I look at that photo, I'm like, oh my God. And you know that kid's not. I lived 2 blocks from that house. I went back in the 90s. You know, I'll tell you, man. You know the police, the chief of police. I met that dude. And we had like these conversations about the house. And he said, you know how many times they had to send the police there in the middle of the night? Nothing was going on. There was nobody around. There was like all kinds of flashes of light going on inside the house. And this is like right after that stuff had happened. Yeah. So there's a lot to that. But people tried to make it like it wasn't real.
No, you know, that picture's real.
You just feel it. Yeah. You look at that kid and you know you just like, wow. You know, it's just and he's so now look to his look over his shoulder because there's another one there too. There's another kid behind him and it's harder to see. And I'll tell you, it just reaches out to you. But
I'm gonna put this out to Julie and Philip because I too live in a haunted house, and it's easy for people to say it never happened. It's always easy for the finger pointers or the people who want to investigate, don't have the opportunity to go and investigate, or you know can't investigate anything. It's always easy for the naysayers. But until you freaking live it, okay, right? So why don't you guys maybe talk a little bit about what it's like to live in your place? And did you guys come across any of that?
I'll tell you something. I have a thick head. I'm a New Yorker, and I'm the most skeptical person probably born.
Yeah.
And all the paranormal phenomenon I was dealing with, I try to debunk myself, saying it's not real. It's an optical illusion. It's psychosomatic. It's the way the sun's shining into the house. It's the bulbs going bad. I've done all that. And what really sold me was the fact that a toy that was not motion or light activated went off by itself during a 15-minute session in my basement of me asking questions. And the entity was responding by making this toy do what it had to do. And you can't do that. It's impossible. And at that point, I realized this is real. Now, there's always naysayers. There's always the skeptics and the non-believers. So, you know, the Horsefly Chronicles case, my mission was to prove to the world it does exist. So I went on over 300 radio shows, including Coast to Coast, and I said, verbatim, don't believe a word I'm saying. I'm going to bring the best people to my home. and let's see what they have to say. How's about that? And I started in 2014 with one team. A month later, I had over 50 paranormal teams investigate my home, my property, only to say this is real. We can't explain it, but it's real. And even Brian Cano, he's pretty skeptic. He likes to put science into things. And on National Ghost Hunting Day, the day before, he's like, your house is sitting on a portal of energy. And it's allowing these things, believe it or not, to manifest and come through. You know, it's hard for people to really believe. And, you know, sometimes cousins and relatives and friends come over. I'm like, well, where is it? Well, you're not going to see Casper the Ghost. I mean, if I could prove that, I'd be a multimillionaire over and over again. But,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, I don't have that kind of power to say, here, ghost appear.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. What I realized is that ghosts, spirits, entities, however we want to label some of these things, if you do provoke and you're alone, I can promise you, you're like being in a fish tank with sharks. Because I have seen the strongest, toughest people, even military people, that try to debunk what's going on in my home, be like, I could fight wars, but I can't fight this thing. And what happens to a person is this. They start to lose all their energy. After they lose their energy, they start getting really mad. And then they start shaking, and their eyes, again, my walls don't bleed, my pitches don't fly around. None of that. That doesn't happen here. But it takes over the person themselves, and they start speaking sometimes things I don't understand very fast, or other times they just want to fight everybody in the house. And we get them off the property, and within 10, 15 minutes, they're not realizing what happened to them. So it showed me something that entities can take control over anybody if they provoke and they are susceptible to allowing these things to happen. So, you know, I used to say, look, you'll sign a waiver when you come to my home. You don't have to believe a word I'm saying, but go into the basement. And what would happen is this. Within an hour, dark shadows, not full body apparitions, but dark, misty shadows would come from the back wall of my basement, and you would see like this flickering shadow mist. And that's right before it starts to take over somebody. You know, they always pick one person in the crowd.
Yeah.
I remember we had an event here, and one lady didn't want to leave my garage. It was set up with chairs, and she's like, I don't want to enter the home. And I was like, that's probably the worst thing you can do, because they're going to single you out. And long and behold, that night they were in a major car accident. So you have to be careful. Don't provoke. It does exist. The best evidence I have, a lot of pictures, people say it's optical illusions, right? So what I wanted was the picture with the audio, with the paranormal equipment going off, with the psychic medium on site. If I can get all those four things, I believe
There it is.
I'm dealing with the unknown. And that's what I did. I don't take a K2 meter for granted. I don't take just a recorder. I want the whole package. If we're really going to capture something, it's going to present itself, like I said earlier, if a spirit wants to be seen, like that Amityville one. I believe that to be authentic.
So do I.
Only because I was at that house in mid-'80s with some friends, and the Amityville Horror House, we wanted to actually go in the house. It was vacant at the time. And it was about 15 of us taking pictures, joking around. Well, a week later, this is probably in like 84, 85. A week later, someone came forward and says, wait a second, the house is here, but we're not in the pictures. And that was a roll of 24 pictures. We did not show up in one.
Wow,
So
interesting.
these
That was
things,
filmed for
Amityville is true. It's a real case. I was not in the home, but we didn't come out in one picture. You can't explain that. And that was a Polaroid. One of those
Okay.
Yeah.
not the one, no, not a
Can't
Polaroid.
fudge
The
it.
ones
You
that
can't
Oh,
fudge it.
I know what he means. Like the old fashioned, the ones that you used to buy, and
The
then
box
yeah, the
ones.
ones,
Yeah.
disposable ones. That's what I mean.
But it's still filmed, so that's like
Yeah,
makes
you
it even
can't
more
fudge it.
valid. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Can I
you know,
ask you a question?
spirits.
Can I ask you a question about your house there, the Horsefly Chronicles there? Have you had anybody that's been in there that has had a conversation as to maybe that's conversed with them to find out why they are there?
Well, we had Chris Moon, Denise Garcia, and he had his equipment that he invented, and Dave Spinks, Ralph Sarchi. What they found was this. They found that the land was the Iroquois Indians were here back years ago, and they lost the battle. And there was a lot of bloodshed between the Forks Delaware River and eastern Pennsylvania. Now, a lot of the pictures that we have look like false face flags, like these images that we have, and we have over 50 images. It doesn't look like a ghost. It looks like someone holding a mask over their face in a lot of these. Now, these entities, one thing we do realize is that through conversation, we've had people do a Ouija board here. And what would happen is within 5 to 10 minutes of a Ouija board session, they said, I can't do this no more. It's poking me in the back. It's hurting me.
Oh, wow.
And the spirit entity would hurt the person so much as they were getting close to getting the answers that it would stop the session and the person had to leave.
Okay. To go on with that, there said, do you know what type of natives were there that had that? And maybe a thing there was to bring in somebody that's from that tribe to speak to them?
Yes, we had a shaman come to the home.
That was from that tribe that would be able to converse the ancestors?
No, it wasn't from that tribe.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't from that tribe.
Because natives and, or what do you say, Indians battled around each other and they didn't like other tribes. So maybe a thing there might be, just a thought, is have somebody that might be from that tribe or that relationship ancestry and maybe converse to find out why they're there. Just a thought, anyways.
Yeah, we didn't have someone from the tribe, but luckily, with the stroke of luck, knock on wood, the case was solved and we lived free of this thing.
Oh, okay.
So, and here's exactly how this happened. We had NESPR come here, Dan Rivera and the whole crew. And
Dan's a good guy.
Here's what they did, and this is going to help people going forward. They would not tell us what their plan was, me and my wife. So they interviewed me, but they knew they had a plan, but I asked them, how are you going to do this? How are you going to get rid of it? They wouldn't answer my question. They just wanted to know what we were dealing with. So they left. They came back in the evening, and they were in the basement, and they had the tape recorder going, and all of a sudden, on a digital recorder, when they played it back, when I asked a certain question, it said F you in a evil voice, male voice. So Dan Rivera and Jimmy and Eric Vitale says, we figured this thing out. We go upstairs to the dining room. We're sitting there, and Dan takes out the prayers. And all of a sudden, every single light bulb between the living room and the kitchen and the dining room went so bright, you almost had to close your eyes, and then it was over. That was it. And that was in July, and we're living ghost-free happily. So, we've had ministry.
Did you record that?
Another question.
Shaman.
Yes, he has it recorded.
They haven't finished.
Yes.
They have it recorded.
But do you have any other homes around your home have similar experiences too?
I believe so. We haven't heard any stories, but the problem with our neighborhood is that it's always, what's the word? They were always moving.
Okay.
They're moving.
No one stays here that long.
No
one really stays here past 4 years. It is a nice neighborhood, but people don't last. Now, mysteriously, when we bought the home, at the closing, the people wouldn't look at us that we were actually buying the home from. They didn't like us.
Why, we don't know.
But they were happy to hand over the keys to this house. And the closing, a month later, part of their closing check came to my home. I tried to reach out. They would not accept my phone calls. And then 6 months later, I guess we found out why they wanted nothing to do with us.
So
they left the house.
They wanted,
whether or not they were dealing with it, it was an unhappy family. I couldn't understand it, but now I guess I get it. Spirits, it's not just a matter of seeing them, hearing them touching you. They'll make you go financially broke. They will take away your health. They will take away your ambition of life. They will drain you like a battery until you're null and void and want to take your own life. That's what they do. And then they move on to the next person. And we were all being played like a game of chess by this one entity in this home. And luckily,
negative spirits.
Did you find out what the name was?
Negative spirits.
Yes.
You found out what the name was of the entity?
Please don't say it on air.
No, I don't. They won't reveal it. The NESPR won't reveal it.
Not scared.
And that's fine.
They won't reveal that. And yes, there's of course there's many of good spirits. So negative. This one was particularly negative. They believe that this one was a demon, and they labeled it a demon and had a name for it, but would not reveal the name. And I don't care because at this point in my life, it's over.
Exactly. Then, you did the right thing.
Yeah, and then we just like slowly took our house back.
Yeah, and you know, a couple days later, I was able to buy crosses and put them up, put Mother Mary up, and the home feels light again. It feels like we won it back.
I'm happy for you guys.
That's good.
You went through a lot.
So, I appreciate that. And, you know, it's real. It does exist. And there are a lot of naysayers. They'll make fun. They'll joke. Yeah. I've been bashed more times, especially after being on some big, like Coast to Coast. He's fake. He's this. But I had to prove to people. That's just how it was. I wanted teams here to prove, no, I'm telling you the truth. And other people that deal with cases like this, we want to help going forward. I'm not a person that can remove them, but I know the signs of what these things do.
Absolutely.
That's a classic photo. I'm so happy for you guys, and congratulations on your newest addition to your family. Great.
Thank you.
My gosh, your grandchildren are so beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're so cute.
Dare you,
grandparents. They made us old.
Nah, you're too young to be old. My mom was a young grandmother. No.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
You know, I want to talk about a picture that you're showing with Lorraine Warren and the Annabelle doll. And we had Plato on the show, our show, and we asked him, everything is energy, as we know. And he believed that the demon is confined within that doll. So I asked the question. My question was, well, if everything is energy and we perceive it to believe what it really is, what's stopping the entity from leaving the doll and going out and affecting other people?
I remember that.
And what he said was belief. Belief. That's what it is. It's not that it's grounded inside that doll, but the doll is like an attachment where it presents itself if you believe it to be real. Now, if you don't believe it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because one of the things I've done is I've wanted atheists to come on my show back a year ago. I wanted the hardcore people who don't believe in God, who don't believe in anything, to come on my show. And after a series of questions, they have an open mind, because the truth really is, well, if we're who created us, right? It goes back like a lot of the people, when you talked earlier about near-death experiences and how do people really know that there's a heaven, right? I'm one of the biggest people who does the investigations and talks to people who have died and came back. And what they say is validated when we do paranormal investigations. Some of them go through this tunnel, but they're still able to see us on a 360 degree. They can hear us, they can feel us, because it's multiple dimensions. It's more than our minds can conceive. It's not just I see you, you see me. It's the overall picture of, no, I see everything. I feel everything. You are everything. And the other side is perfect. And it's fascinating. And again, up until we actually cross over and get there, some of these things are hard to believe.
See, but you can look at nature and you see those connections. You know what I mean? Like there's a mushroom plant in Alaska that is.
Hey, one of y'all at a time, guys. somebody, but one yard at a time.
Right? What I was saying is that's what I asked before. Is that how do you know
I
what
don't
you're
think Del can
seeing
hear me.
there and what you're
He's down.
believing is actually true, right? Until you know, you can't know until you're gone, and you can't report it back to us, right? So anybody that's telling you something is what interpretation is what their mind sees or what their spirit sort of feels, but that could all be just a lie or part of the matrix or part of the deception. Correct?
That's true.
Yeah.
So, like what I was saying before, there's these mushroom plants in Alaska, right? And they're like 60 miles in one direction, 110 miles in the other direction, all individual mushrooms on top, but all connected as one plant underneath, And that's just fascinating when you start thinking of the terms of energy, the relationships of things within the universe. I mean, we can liken things very easily to that as humanity, that we all are connected, that we're connected by energy. Like you said, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Everything that we see, there's people who believe in a block universe, for instance. Also, there's also people who believe in a simulation universe. That this is all a simulation. So, but it's interesting the interactions that you guys have had, and I appreciate the stuff that you do because it brings more of a normalcy to the world of the paranormal instead of the clowns. There's a lot of clowns out there that just they're charlatans or Miss Cleo, that type of stuff. And but you guys are the real deal that had real life experiences. You didn't ask for it either. It happened to you. But there's a lot of bad energy, man. Especially like, where's the house anyway? Like what town? What area?
Easton, PA. It's not far from New Jersey, like 5 minutes from New Jersey.
Yeah. So about Sullivan's March and everything, and how they slaughtered the Indians. There's in the Poconos, there's a hotel where the Indians jumped a waterfall to death because they didn't want to get slaughtered by the troops. So you have this unbelievable mass murder from General Sullivan, that Washington ordered to go up that direction. They even went up to the Finger Lakes. They went up around both sides of the Finger Lakes and slaughtered every man, woman, and baby. They didn't stop until they got to Rochester because there was some kind of British thing up there. So, think about those terms, how much pain and suffering that happened because of that. Yeah.
That's true. In fact, the cross street is called Sullivan Trail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Sullivan didn't even want to do it. And the communications with Washington, he didn't believe in it. Washington said, go terrorize them. He said terror. And actually they had a good rapport with the nations. They were trying to get along with them. And it just did an about face and boom. And made everybody suffer, including the nations that were going along with everything that helped us. They also got slaughtered. So not a good moment in our history.
No.
But those imprints are in the ground. Those imprints are in your house. I mean, all around. And it's like getting rid of that type of energy is like sweeping back the ocean with a broom, man. It's very, it's I don't know, a containment, I guess, right? You guys contained it. It's not. It's your house is neutral, where the other areas are probably not.
Yes.
If I can intervene 1 second, Joe, this one here that you're showing so far hasn't been debunked to my knowledge.
So
it's a video too. Let's watch it. It's coming out the door, man. I was like, wait, what? Let's see if it'll do it again. I was like, when I looked up and see him, like, what the hell comes out the door, huh?
What the hell?
Well, don't invite anything back in again.
There's two different
creepy looking, whatever it is.
There's two different videos of that specter at this location. Not one comes from a different part of the house, I believe. So it's not the same image, but there are a couple of different captures. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but just before he scrolled on by that one.
No, I just been letting these play up here while y'all been talking to see what kind of weirdness.
That was crazy.
All I see is a movie.
This is one.
Yeah, I know.
Just see the thing that shows stuff in the sky in these. Like most people don't realize, like in Jaws, there's been several movies where they've caught really good UFOs. You just don't notice them because you're watching the movie. There's an epic scene in Jaws where the Jaws is eating something, but there's actually a UFO coming across the sky behind it. It got so much attention that they scrubbed it out of the movie.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah. But they say there's still some older ones that you can catch.
Yeah. What is that? What are we watching?
Terrified ghost sightings in Britain. I don't know. Apparently, that's supposed to be scary.
England is scary.
Number 9. I don't see nothing scary there. It looks like some ugly ass town in New York. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you're looking
So is that
films, man. This is films. Yeah.
It's Joe. After he eats chocolate.
It looks like American Werewolf in London is what that looks like.
That's what happens if I don't eat chocolate. No, these are actually supposed to be ghost sightings in Britain. I don't know why they're putting all this other stuff up there, but I guess is.
Oh my!
This is Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's so bad.
Now I want to see this movie.
That is so bad.
I'm ready. Okay, we can't be watching this. YouTube, we'll hack YouTube off for sure.
Yeah.
YouTube now that there's that third star, man. Copyright violation. Boom.
They'll be like
out the window.
Why did you do that, Joe? I don't know. It's one of them things I felt like doing. I don't know what the hell happened.
Accident.
It was an accident.
It may contain flashing lights, loud noises, disturbing content, and jump scares.
I get more crap in these things. It's whoa, what was that? It's no, I always think these are. Okay, I don't know why this one's still even.
Real ghosts caught on tape.
Let's see. I don't see no ghosts. Oh, these are all ghosty. Ooh, what's that? Come on, people! I don't see no ghosties in these. Y'all wasting.
Where's that tunnel?
If I don't see a ghost jump out at somebody soon, I'm
there's a lot of fake stuff going on though with that, man.
If y'all gonna send us videos while we're live, I don't mind, but send them, something that happens immediately.
Did you ever see the video of the hotel room that this thing, like, they were screaming and growling, and they sent the security guard up there, and the guy, like, entered the room. They even told him not to, and then you see the shadow figure run out, and the guy said that everything in the room was destroyed. Like the carpet was even ripped up. Like the whole room was destroyed. That really, and it really happened. It was documented. That's amazing right there to me. Like, but hotels are like one of the most haunted places, and people die in hotels all the time. So
yeah,
especially
the old ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is a person in a tree. Get the hell out of here! Now I gotta watch this for sure.
I believe it was Black Monday where they had tons and tons of really, really super rich take their own lives in the hotels.
Yeah.
Wow.
You remember the Kool-Aid guys? They took a lot of lives. How many people died for Jim Jones? Has anybody ever gone and investigated that spot?
That wasn't necessarily a hotel, man.
No, I was
in a hotel.
But has anybody?
I was in a hotel in Ithaca. I was in a Super 8 in Ithaca. Like last year, and I a couple of times I felt like somebody was watching me while I was sleeping. Like I got up, I saw a figure standing over by the bathroom. That's weird. And then, but you get that feeling when you're used to doing it, you get that feeling, So I said to the manager the next day, I'm like, anybody die here, recently? And then the guy thought for a second. He goes in the back and brings out a news article on how there was a maid that worked there, and she ended up like staying there for a few months, and she died. And I said she didn't die a natural death. She actually showed me she was choked to death like the next night. Like she showed this to me in my mind. That there was a man with her and strangled her and left her body there, and they thought she died from drugs. Isn't that crazy? But it's amazing the feelings that you get, what comes through,
Yeah.
And that part of the building is heavy, like real heavy. You walk back there, it's like, wow, you get pulled in. It wasn't even in the room that I was in. It was across the hall and one room over. Because I said, this is the room. And he's like, wow, that was the room where she was found. It just pulls you in,
Mm-hmm. It does. And it's really weird how some people, can feel stuff like that, then others can't. It's just so
sensitivity, just levels of sensitivity.
Yeah.
There are mediums. Robbie Thomas, amazing medium, help solve crimes and stuff, finds dead bodies for the police. He just sees it in his mind. He just kind of links right in. But what is that?
Like
what is that ability, really?
Well, yeah, but one of us is actually doing it, and I'll just leave it there.
All right, wait a minute. Here we go. Jonestown. Who's doing investigation? I want to go to Jonestown and do some investigations. How many people died there?
Jonestown. That was a cult.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they all drank the purple Kool-Aid, and I want to
They
go see
did
what
because he
kind of
convinced them. He convinced them Nirvana, right?
I've never heard of anybody do a paranormal investigation. Though.
Still
That's
be
what I'm
grounded for sure.
Oh,
Lead
yeah.
that way.
It would be an interesting investigation.
How many people
We could
died
bring
that
the
day?
newbies. Hey, we could bring the newbies as sacrifices, y'all.
He escaped, didn't he? Sacrifice us. He
He
escaped.
was the
Didn't
only
he
one who
escape?
didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I thought I
Yeah.
read that also.
But we were talking. Well, I'm pretty sure Jonestown's somewhere we can't get to really easy. But we've been talking about doing it as soon as the rest of the planet opens up, is doing a big investigation amongst with a bunch of the researchers from the organization. I was thinking somewhere mid northeast somewhere because it'll be easier for everybody to get there. Everybody from Canada coming down would be pretty, except for the BC people, it'd be easier. And
Gettysburg.
the majority of the
We talked
hosts,
about Gettysburg.
Gettysburg's fun.
Gettysburg would be good. It would be a good place.
Times. Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe something a little more concentrated. But I don't know. It's just something to think about. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all listening tonight and you've got a particular idea, somewhere you'd like to hear a group go to and investigate, write to us and let us know. We're always looking for good places to get involved with.
Especially if it's a nice resort. You know what I mean? Like a really nice resort.
That's even better. That's even better. I was thinking, is there any ghosties in Vegas? I never hear about no ghost in Vegas. We got to go UFO hunting.
Of course there is.
The desert.
Obviously.
There's tons of ghosts in Vegas.
Ghosts out there, but at least we know.
I don't want to say, man, but that guy at Mandalay Bay, he killed over 200, almost 300 people.
We'll bring Phil and Julia with us, and that way, if the aliens,
you don't kill 300 people and walk away without some type of heavy energy, man.
So, before I know we're getting short on time, but what is this thing walking in the woods here?
It's hard to see.
Yes, and I don't like seeing little girls walking around the woods. Start off with it's a little creepy right off the bat. I've seen some hairy, scary things in the swamp before, but I don't want to see little people walking around. It's weird.
Where is
we don't want to hear about you women in the swamp, Joe.
I don't bring no women in the swamp unless they're carrying guns. I'm just saying, man.
Very scary. That sounds like the Bronx.
Yeah,
you done hit the Bronx, man.
Guns. All the women I know took.
There it is.
Say.
That could be anything, though.
So if it reaches out and touches you. So you know what? Hold on. Let's stop this one. We got a little time, so let's go through this real quick. So I know everybody in here has been in haunted places. So how many of y'all have had something touch you? Just out of the blue, you're just minding your own business. You're doing whatever. You might be sitting there having a cup of coffee, talking. You may be in a haunted location. You may not be. But how many of y'all have actually had something touch you that was not your friend or your spouse? Or your kids, for that matter. You can get demon children like mine. They were always jumping and running around the house and shit. So, but how many of y'all moved? See, let's start with Michelle. She's been all quiet and sweet tonight. Scares me when she's quiet.
Not so much, but I've been touched a lot, as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, we like yes, and me too going on around here.
Just
as I say it, it's
touching
like,
you.
It just doesn't sound so wrong, but yes, it has happened a lot. I've been doing this 18 years. I've been in many different parts of the world, and sometimes I'm the only one in the space. And usually it's nothing really aggressive. I've never been scratched or bitten or anything really malevolent, considering the type of cases that I do. Ironically, it's the kinder spirits that seem to reach out and will touch my shoulder or grab my hand, something along those lines. So I'm grateful that it's delicate, or maybe aliens is feeling the need to put their hands on my head or crap like that. It's not overly comforting, but it's happened.
That's when they pick you up and set you over here like that.
Yep, it's happened. So yeah, it's happened.
Uncle Dale.
Yeah, being.
And I'm not talking about when Laura Lee's touching you either, baby.
Oh,
I don't want to know that.
No
Keep it
visual.
clean.
No visual.
Well, there's an interesting thing that's been done with studies in that about how the mind can go in fire receptors in the body, and you get these little impulses around there. People have had this happen during sleep with a dream, and all of a sudden wake up with marks or some sort of muscle pain and stuff like that in their body. And it's just something that we don't understand how the mind works, how the subconscious works, how if you actually astral travel and something affects you some ways. So there's the science is out, even if science even wants to even look into it. But I think you can be touched any which way, shape, or form in any reality dimension, depending on what you believe.
I believe that.
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Have you been touched, Michael?
See,
that kind of way. Yeah, no.
That's a loaded question.
Very loaded question with Michael.
Yeah.
I told the story earlier about somebody grabbing my hand, and that was pretty interesting. I got scratched one time, and then we were actually in the middle of a conversation with these dowsing rods, and all of a sudden I just felt like this thing on my leg, and I looked at it. It was scratched from just under my knee all the way down to my ankle, under my pants, under my sock. So that was interesting.
It's kind of weird. Okay, Phil,
That's it.
Julia, y'all want to go?
So many times I've had my hair pulled. So many times.
By ghosts?
Well, we were on an investigation. We were investigating in Staten Island, and we were going up the hill, and something just like yanked my whole hair. I'll never forget that. And a lot of times in the house, right?
Yeah. So what happened to me, there's this big question mark about people, what they believe about sleep paralysis. And some of it could be a form of a medical procedure, something with the mind that doctors know we don't know. But this is what did happen to me. The bedroom door, I was laying in bed. I was half dozing off, watching the television. The bedroom door shut. And after it shut, I got tingles throughout my whole body. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to fall asleep, and I'm trying to wake myself up out of it. And I felt something holding me down. And I tried to toss and turn, and I couldn't get out of it. And I was pulled into what I felt like was a night tremor. And I couldn't get myself out of it for hours. Wow. When I finally got out of it, hours later, I asked everyone in the home who shut the door and who was on top of me, but no one did it. So there's that question again with sleep paralysis. Can the entity actually, do these things, hold you down? And I'm going to say yes.
They can. I've had it happen to me twice. I completely believe you. You just know when something else is in your space.
Yes.
You do.
That's another way. They tried to vilify Lilith, saying that it's actually her that's doing it, well, these entities. But we did a place where this woman got pushed down the stairs, and people were getting scratched head to toe under their clothing, and just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And that was one of the defining things there. Was being held down. The mom in the house went to the ER a few times thinking she was having a heart attack. She says she physically felt someone sitting on top of her, pressing on her chest with both of their hands.
That's like the hag syndrome.
Yeah.
Like they say the old hag syndrome.
Yeah, but the hag they called is Lilith.
Yes,
like they took Lilith from Adam and Eve and made her into the hag, which is crazy.
But it could be extraterrestrial also. Like there's all kinds of information about that too. So it's like
could be Joe Biden. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I don't want to get political.
Amelia, you're next.
Thank you. Being a medium and a remote viewer, I don't think there's anything I haven't experienced. I've been scratched. I've brought things home with me. I've had my hair pulled, like Julia. I've been pushed. And the biggest thing that ever happened that I actually had a witness to was with Michelle in a home where I actually was stepped into and got stuck on the stairs. And she came back to see where I was. And I hadn't even realized that I was there. I was just completely lost because we were following the footsteps of a spirit. And
I just grabbed you.
Yeah, you came back for me. I was just there, just in of all places in the middle of the staircase. I'm lucky I didn't go down, but yeah, when you're a medium, you tend to go through this just as part of, especially physically. and evidently you just tend to go through this as part of your work. So it's best to have someone with you, is all I can say.
Yes.
Someone you can
Most
trust.
definitely.
Yeah, it's
And
safest.
it's always good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
always tell people you should always be in a group. The
Yeah.
last time anything happened, I was in the French Quarter, and I was walking downstairs, got my hair pulled back, scratched, and I turned around and said, "Look, bitch, if you're gonna be grabbing my hair and scratching me, it's $39.99 a minute. I'm not a cheap date." And as I turned around, she grabbed me in the ass. I was like, "You gotta be joking." Now, what's funny about this is it sounds like I'm kidding, but I'm not. It's a true story.
Wow.
I was just like, no, don't be touching me unless you mean business, Mel. Come on now. Look, I'm not touchy feely to start off with. So keep your hands to your damn self, ghosties. But see, like I said, here, it's been a long time since we lived in a place that doesn't have any activity. And here, because of all the hurricanes, like Zeta, there was 9 foot of salt water underneath my house for 24 hours. Everything around here is cleansed, ground lines, but just since Katrina, this land has been underwater. Well, for Katrina, it was 32 foot underwater, but since then, it's been underwater at least a dozen times. So there's always a constant dumping of salt on the ground here. And it's always a thick, thick layer. So there's probably 18 inches of salt in and out of the ground around here, sewn in and out in your house. All the wood soaked into it, and then my house is basically
Try to Finger Lakes
by salt water. So yeah, well, fresh water get you getting, but salt water seems to keep you safe, and we don't really. There's just no activity here at all. Not that kind of activity anyway. There's no ghosties.
Yeah, but check this out, Joe. In the Finger Lakes, you have salt beds under the lakes. They like Cargill mines. They have salt veins, right? Then you have fresh water flowing on top. Then you have all this quartz in the ground. So then you have these ley lines above. You really have like a perfect cocktail for paranormal activity. I think that's why we've always been successful going to places and collecting so much evidence around here. It's just the climate's right.
There's going to be definitely places that have way more activity. One, places in the Northeast have more people for longer periods of time. So just that alone is a reason you're going to have more activity. But there's other stuff. There were the Native Americans long before the white people settled there, and there were people and then the Vikings before them. So there's 1,000 years easy of people dying up there and killing each other. So there's lots of stuff up there. And then God knows what else has been up there. And we don't know what went on here 15,000, 25,000, 100,000 years ago. We only know recent history. So we don't really know what goes on. So when you're living on places
not far from here, 30 minutes away from here, you have Spanish Hill in Waverly, and that's where they found those giants when they were putting the road in. So then they just blocked it off. Now there's some Christmas tree farm up there, and they don't let anybody on there. But right along the Susquehanna River. So interesting,
Reese, Reese. I've been to Skinwalker Ranch twice. Wow. Yes, I have. And still under non-disclosure agreement even today. And then I'm telling y'all again, it's not what you think it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's as much as
is it a B&B?
That's it. It's not
bed and breakfast going on there.
When I actually got to meet a couple of really famous people out there, and the thing of it was it's just they brought me out for a specific reason for something else that I do, and it was an interesting experience, but it's still not what everybody thinks it is. It's very strange. A lot of weirdness goes on, but it's not.
Well, look at
people think it is.
Oh yeah, look at that area up there. All those canyons too. I mean. There's a lot of remote areas that people have not gone.
I think you're 500 miles from Area 53. You're about 700 miles from Area 51. It's all places we know that there's heavy activity zones. It's just strange.
Navajo, Indian, Hopi. You have that large swath plus that volcano that's up there by Shiprock in New Mexico. That's where the skinwalkers, man, like running in the road. My friend's dad said one chased him down and clawed at him, going 65 miles an hour down the road in his truck, going down to Gallup from like that area, Shiprock area, And man, this thing. He said that there was blood on the truck. Like he said, it had crazy eyes. It looked like an animal, but it was running 65 miles an hour trying to get him. And, interesting though. I was up there too. They used to call it Route 666 and they changed the name of it. But I was on that road back in 1990 and you do get that feeling like, wow,
There's a lot of highways that are weird in America when you're driving around them. A lot of weird stuff. There's places you can go that you're pretty much guaranteed. I'll tell you one of the weirdest things. I was driving through I was on Interstate 20 driving to going out to Nevada for a lecture. And it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We're driving in a really nice rental. And I remember opening the roof and looking at the sky, thinking how beautiful it was, looking at the mountains in front of me, thinking, shit, 20 million years ago, man, I'm sitting under 4,000 feet of water, man, waiting for a whale to come swallow my asshole with some giant teeth or something. It was just like an instant flashback, man. It was almost like I was there for a second. It was a strange, weird feeling that just came across me while I'm cruising down the interstate at 100 miles an hour. It was a strange sensation, I gotta say. But you see a lot of weird stuff. Oh, and I tell you what, if you ever want to see the fireworm for real, catch Interstate 20 coming out like you're headed into Nevada from LA. Oh my God. It is just 4 lanes for 6 hours of just nothing but taillights. It looks like a giant fireworm just snaking along with 18 and 20 mile long trains following alongside it. So it's a strange little ride. But I got to tell you, last time we were out there, we left Vegas going down to LA for a couple hours and hang out. We seen all kind of buses. We stop at this restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, so y'all know this. Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico have the shittiest restaurants that ever existed. They even have signs out there. Most of them don't even have bathrooms in them, just so you know this. They're just little places you can stop and get out your car for a minute. And I'm not kidding you when I say the signs all over it says watch for rattlesnakes. It really is. Well, Lynn and I are sitting at this one somewhere just on the edge, just before you get to California. And she looks at, she says, is that a bus? I'm like, what do you mean it's a bus? So I get the binoculars. Not one, but 3 of these big buses coming out of somewhere in the middle of the freaking desert. I have my binoculars. You can see 20 miles in any direction. You could not see anything these buses were coming from. They just like appeared. There was no dust trail behind them. They were all of a sudden there, and they were just cruising along, headed for this road to get towards the interstate. I was like, at first I thought maybe they were part of the Janus flights, but they were going the wrong direction. So they must bust them out of there in 4 or 5 different, because I've been out to Area 51 a couple of times now, and it's they must bust them out in different areas. Fly some out, bust some out. It's a strange little thing to watch, though, man. To watch 3 buses in the middle of the desert just cruising along. And I mean, they were cruising; they weren't playing around. And it's like last time we were at Area 51. We're coming back with Nathan, because it's in the middle of nowhere, and everybody out there does 90, 100 miles an hour. Damn, speed limit's 85. So we're just cruising. I mean, we're flooring. We're doing at least 100, and out of nowhere, you see a black bus. 2 black vans and like 2 black SUVs out of nowhere. So they're coming this way. We're going this way because we had already left Area 51. So there's a road to the left that takes you to the little alien inn. So I'm talking to Nathan. And I said, Nathan, how are we going to get to the road before they get to us? Because you could tell these guys did not look friendly. It didn't look like anything you wanted to bother with or mess with or even be around when they were coming by you. So he told me where to turn, and I just punched it. We hit the road. We was cruising. We missed him by about 9 minutes. And it was funny because the one guy peeled off the back. He slowed down and peeled off and took the road we took and followed us all the way to the little area and just sat there for a little while as we all got out the car, went inside, got some eating at the owners of the little area, hung out for a while, talked to the local sheriff and stuff like that. And it was interesting. Oh, that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to tell you a secret that I shouldn't because a bunch of you are idiots. So if you manage to break into the base at Area 51 and you don't penetrate the second guard tower, just the first, it's a $750 fine and 1 day in jail. So they will call the military will come get you and they will bring you to the local sheriff. He'll come to the gate and pick you up and he will bring you back to the base. Now, if you break the second guard tower, which is about 2 or 3 miles inland from the first one, if you break that one, you are going to the military base and probably not getting out of jail for some time to come. They're very funny about how close you get to the base. And the second one's only where the old mountains used to be, where the original look off was, where you could go sit on top of the mountains. That's where the second tower is, or the second guard post is. Still a long ways from the base, but if you make it that far, you're going to jail. They're not going to let you go. They're going to want to know what you were doing, what you were up to. And you'd be surprised how far you can make it in because it's just miles and miles and miles and miles of nothingness. But you see sensors everywhere, little pop-up things, little trucks following you around all over the place. It's so funny to watch the monocular camera track you as you're walking. And they know who you are. I mean, you can't be there 30 seconds. They don't know who you are. And if you're someone like me who speaks publicly, it's not even a hard thing. Just pop my face up on the screen. It's going to pop up all over the place. So they know who you are, and they've got to be wondering what the hell you're doing. And you can see where people come camp out all night and sit out by the gates and harass the guards and shit. And it tells you no cameras, no pictures, no videos. Everybody's out there with cameras and pictures and videos. The little drone comes flying by. You're looking at it like, hello, little drone. The drone waves at you as it goes by. And it's a weird thing, but they watch you the whole time you're there. They're not playing around. But you'll never see a guard come out. I've been there 3 times. I've never seen a guard come out of the shack one time. Not even once. They just watch you unless you do something stupid like get on the fence. And some of the fences are electrified, so you got to be careful where you go. So you know, and I asked, matter of fact, when we were at Little Alien, I asked them if they had any paranormal activity out here other than alien activity, like ghosts or demons or anything like that. And they only told me about one little ghost rider that comes riding down the highway in the middle of the night 4 times a year, something to do with the equinoxes or the changeovers. She said it's a white horse with a white guy and a cowboy hat that just comes riding by. Nobody knows what the hell it's for or where it came from. There are a couple of pictures of it too. It was a little weird. I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe it's just checking on your little town here with 5 people that live in it. Just know.
I'm going to stop at that place with the chili you were talking about, man. Now you have me thinking about chili.
At the Continental Divide. Oh, man, that place is fabulous. It's
you know what? I was driving past it, and I said to my friend, I was like, that's Joe said exactly that right there. It has this huge sign that says chili, and it's right at the Continental Divide, man.
Yeah, they had good food. I was surprised because I'm funny about eating chili on the road, but it was really, really good. But I know we got about 10 minutes, so where are we at? Well, okay. I know we've seen a couple questions a little while ago. Oh yeah,
they have cornbread there.
Yeah, they get everything. But
got
all kind of gifts. Yeah, they got every kind of gift you can think of. But they also where you get the food from Watchers.
Well, they might have taco chips. You know how weird stuff gets out west, man.
Oh yeah, west. Yeah. Jeremy. So what do you got, Jeremy? Why don't we do more research on Native American lore and Native American hauntings and ghosts? Because Native Americans don't talk about them.
We do in our individual shows. I mean, if you listen to the network, all of us, we always talk about that stuff, man.
Yes, that's something Michelle and I will be talking about in the future. But when it comes to Native Americans, they're not all about. They don't necessarily wear their paranormal on their sleeves like the rest of America does. They're kind of. You have to get to know somebody, a shaman or somebody in the family, to get to the really good stories.
I got a dude.
You know,
my friend Don Grayday. He's a shaman, man. He would talk to you guys on the air.
Well, we've had a couple of Native Americans on the radio network. We've had a couple of hosts that were Native American, but still,
he was up at Standing Rock, whatever it was. I mean, he was one of those guys there too. Whatever it was, that pipeline. Remember?
Yeah, Kimberly, no politics on Monday. Say that for Friday. Yeah, no, you can say, and I did read that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if Biden was dumb enough to say that, and if he was, then we'll talk about it on Friday.
What, he fell down again?
No. It's just something. Somebody sent me something about something he said that if he actually said it, I'm just thinking, oh my God, Jesus. I thought the other one was dumb. Jesus. But we'll see. These days, I don't trust the media as far as I can throw them, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why we do our own news on the show, on the network, because you can't really trust anything that's really news related anymore. It's just all politically viewed. It's this guy believes this, just because that's the way your news is. It's tainted. You're not getting actually journalism. You're getting opinions. And if I want opinions, I got 40 hosts full of opinions I can listen to. So it's I don't really need to be doing it that way. Carmela, yes, Phil and Julia start this coming Monday. They'll be opening up for Laura Lee. They're actually going to be on Laura Lee's show as well. So they'll have a long day, and you'll be able to catch them. And they're going to be talking about themselves, if I remember correctly, about who they are, why they're in this, things that's happened to them. Yeah, you come by and check them out on Monday, 7:00 our time. Yeah, Eastern. I mean West Central. 8:00. Yeah, sorry. I got too many things in my head. 7:00 Central. Yeah, 8:00 East Coast. Yeah, come by and check them out. They'll be here. Who Michelle? She's possessed. Oh no, she is definitely possessed. She got more demons and ghosties walking around the house when she's doing show. The other day, the chainmail was doing this number.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You have no idea how heavy that is. It doesn't just float around. It weighs
and she had to get rid of it.
It's very, very heavy, for the record.
And she had to get rid of what's his name because he kept winking at me. I don't want Vlad to impale it winking at me. I'm just saying.
I had to put away the painting. I know.
You
He's
know,
such a big baby.
I'm just
Oh
telling
my
you, Glad
God.
does anybody in this panel want Glad the Impaler winking at you? I'm just saying.
Me.
You know, you be winking. I'll be like, look, I don't swing that way anyway, so just back your ass on up. But
Love Vlad.
you just never know what you can see, and everything's moving around the counter. Them things back there on the right, they move back and forth and stuff. You're like, and then who was the one with the dolls? Oh my God! So we've had 4 or 5 shows where they come on with all the dolls they've done got unpossessed or made nice or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter who it is. There's always dolls moving around. Always. I'm like, last guy he's talking. The doll moved its head around, looks at you, even cracked a smile. I'm like, okay, that doll's definitely possessed. And then you'll see them like all their heads will shift one way or they'll shift the other way. You're like, what the hell's going on here? It's just weird because it's live radio, and then people start typing. Did you see the doll move? Did you see the doll move? Or them old ones where the eyes move. You know, the old dolls where the eyes move and stuff, and they have little glass eyes. And man, they'll wink and stuff. People get all freaked out about it.
I think it's funny.
That's pareidolia in video.
It's evil dolls that have been demonized.
Some of it's pretty obvious, but sometimes people see things here, and I'm like, absolutely not. I know. You go back and you look at the film. I go back and watch my own show and going, that absolutely didn't happen. I don't even know what they're talking about. Because things will happen. If you're in a haunted house, things will happen behind you, or you'll hear sounds and things like that. I've had a lot of people say, check the film at this point because we could hear some talking, and I'm alone in the house when I do the shows. So
yeah, but your house is severely haunted. I mean, it's not lightly or gently. It's
her other half every now and then looks translucent.
But it's
a little worried.
But it's good.
But it's gentle. Yeah, it's a nice haunting. It's not like crazy.
Now it is. Yeah.
Demon juggle not bother Michelle. Stay away from my house. Is all I'm saying.
Michelle has a black cat in that house, but yet she doesn't have a black cat. So.
Get out of here.
No. And my chihuahua running around somewhere.
Yes.
In spirit.
Yes, she is.
Marcus, what was that? Yeah. You mean alien-wise? Do I think aliens are scared of ghosts? I don't know if they think of ghosts in the way we think of them.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, Michelle, we've talked about this on other panels about some of the ghosts may be dimensional bleed through. Not all of them, because I don't want anybody writing to me about, oh, God, Joe, you're right. Now, I'm not saying every ghost that's out there, but it does seem that some of them seem to be dimensional bleed through, especially the ones that seem to be risen, dead members, family members. They tend to be off for some reason, like they're not dressed right, or their hair color or eye color is different, or the way they address their kids are different. It just seems like you're talking to somebody who's alive in a different dimension, not so much a dead person. And then I don't want to be thinking about that. All you think about on the other side is the people on this side. When I die, I don't want to be thinking about none of these people over here. I want to be doing something else.
Oh, we'll be thinking about you and dragging your ass down here, communicate all the time, so you get no peace.
Unless they got chocolate involved, and then we might be okay.
There's chocolate. It's all I hear about chocolate.
If no chocolate involved, I'm not.
We love chocolate.
The last show we did Saturday. Send me your chocolate. Oh my God, beggar.
I'm sorry, I didn't get my Easter chocolate fix. I need some people, if y'all listen to the show tonight, please donate.
There we go.
Hey,
Joe.
Especially if you live in Canada, just send him a Kit Kat.
We'll just meet at the Vatican and haunt them good, man.
I know. Boy, I wish we could go to it. I got 3 friends over there that are Monsignors. If we get figure out a way to afford it, we could probably all go over there and do an investigation.
Okay, man. But
they won't arrest us. We'd be like prisoners of the Vatican, man. They'd lock us up in their catacombs.
No.
Nobody would ever see us again. They wouldn't even give us pizza.
You can't unsee any of that stuff they're hiding.
Yeah, but no, I'm serious. I know the astronomer would get us in. He'd get us in for some things for sure. Because we've got pretty close over the years talking. He's ever since he came out and said he thought aliens were real and that they had made contact with the Vatican a long time ago, him and I hit it right on.
Yeah.
We could just dress like little kids. We could dress like little kids, man. They'll let us in.
Michael.
Just saying.
Not at that one. Not at that Vatican. You must be thinking about the American Catholics. No, the Vatican, they're gay over there. So
I'm sure nothing ever happened in Italy at the Vatican.
Italy is so pure.
We're never getting in now, unless it's freaking prison.
The gods live, the Greek and Roman gods, or I should say the Roman gods.
The Greek gods came from Italy. No, you're right. You're rewriting history, buddy.
I'm rewriting history, man. I'm part of that cancel culture. That's all. I'm rewriting. I want to rewrite history the way I want to see it. No, Jeremy, but really, as far as
it was really Zeus Cizeli, right? was the Greek Italian god?
Best I can tell,
he invented the cannoli.
Yeah, the best I can tell, the Romans just overlaid the Greek gods. They said, "Hey, that was a good idea. Let's just steal this idea." Because really,
Romans incorporated everything as they went through.
Yes,
a lot of pagan stuff. So did the church. So did everybody. When you took over a civilization, you tried to incorporate some of the beliefs because it was easier to assimilate the population, or at least get them to
scare the crap out of them, control them.
There's a lot of stuff that's all very tied together.
The Catholic Church has tithing, man. 20% of your income is supposed to go to them. Then they've got indulgence. They brought that back, where whatever sin you commit, basically you could buy your way out. So interesting how it works like that.
Ziggy says he lives outside of London. He wants to know what's the best way to get rid of an annoying ghost. He says not a mean ghost. It's just
you divorced him. Is that Ziggy Marley?
Real ghost, man. Real ghost, baby. Not that
Ziggy Marley.
He says that he rented this place. It's right outside London. It's a really nice place. He got a good price on it. He said, but there's something in there. He knocks around, moves stuff around, moves his keys around.
It's England. Where does it not knock around in England?
Yeah, right.
He said, but is there any way to coax it out of his house? Is there something you could get that would make it leave?
Coax it out.
Or something
It depends if it realizes if it's dead or not, and if he or she is grounded, or if he or she just simply loves their space and is protected.
Yeah, I would contact him. I would be like, be gone. Yeah. So
just play country music. Play country music. It'll run out of them. It'll be like, oh.
No, really. I have no idea if there's like a spray or anything. What are you watching? Too much.
A spray.
Like holy water, maybe. Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. You can buy holy water now. Michelle,
if it's evil. What if it's not evil? You can throw some holy water on it.
Easter holy water. Well, if it's even a little bit evil.
Like a ghost cares about water.
Well, hey, it burns apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Don't ask me. I'd be like, be gone, demon.
Just message the outer realm. We'll answer.
That's right. There you go. Go ahead.
We'll take care of it for sure.
More about the belief behind the water, right?
I don't know about I believe. I just throw some holy water on your ass and don't come at Mike.
Well, what's up with those wafers that the Catholics
eat? If I put some holy water in you, there could be smoke come off your ass. Don't even try to act like it's not going to be.
I would make a smoothie and drink that down and laugh right in your face.
Oh yeah, you'd be smoking. Oh man, you'd be smoking like somebody lit you on fire. Oh my god. In case y'all didn't know, Mike's a vampire hybrid. He's not full vampire. He's hybrid.
Except I don't drink blood. I like the V8 instead.
Yes, he likes vino is what he really likes.
There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff in V8, man. Don't knock it.
No, we got to get out of here because we're a bunch of goofballs now. But before we go, let's see. We're going to start with Amelia so she can tell a little bit about herself and the show, and then we'll go Julie and Phil and Michael, and then we'll work our way around. So Amelia, you are first, sweetie.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Amelia Pisano, and I'm a remote viewing medium, and I am also on this network with the wonderful and the beautiful Michelle DeRoche. We have the Outer Realm here on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
My two favorite redheads.
How many fingers in all of them?
Phil and Julia go. Julia. Oh, man.
Didn't hear it.
Well, my name is Phil Syracusa, Julia Syracusa. We are the host of Horsefly Chronicles Radio. We are on every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
7 Central.
7 Central. And we're going to bring you the best guest. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to be emotional. And we're going to get to the heart of things on our shows and really get down to the truth of some of the hauntings out there.
Yes, feels very, very good with his questions.
Should be fun. Michael?
Yes. I got Discovery Paranormal, 8 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday, and the Red Pill News every Thursday, 8 p.m. And, of course, these shows we do on Mondays and Fridays. of
Sounds
the
like
I don't
Chris
know
Hall.
whatever we do is what we do. Put it that way.
Yeah,
Paranormal news. It's all good.
Uncle Del, where you at, baby?
Yeah, you can
Right.
check out me, the Dell, on Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. The Delicious Recipe. Tomorrow night, I got a guy down the street just around the corner from me, a documentarian, deals with cryptids and the little people and stuff like that. D. McCauley. Gonna have him on there tomorrow. And also send off your stories, true stories of paranormal, weird, strange events there to the delicious stories at gmail.com.
Well, guys and girls, we're going to get out of here. Don't forget, coming up next is Laura Poplin with the Angel Rocker. She'll be up coming up in about 30 minutes. So y'all hang out until then and check it out for the 6,700,000 that tuned in tonight. I want to thank everyone for hanging out and listening to us. I know we go through a lot of good material, but sometimes we do get a bit crazy. And to everybody who was in the other chat room, guys, we've got like 9 different chat rooms on. You can get to us on StreamYard now. Use one of them. Just make my life easier, so I don't have to be flipping back and forth between stuff. And don't forget, coming up this Monday, the Horsefly Chronicles will be joining us, so y'all be sure to come check them out. Hang out after the show this week. Sean Graham, how y'all doing? He hangs out with us on Saturdays, chasing prophecy, so y'all can catch him over there. We got a lot of chasing shows on the network at the time. For some reason, we got 3 of them now, which is a little weird. I don't know how that kind of stuff happens. Oh yeah, it's not the same exact type. One's chasing prophecy, one's chasing truth, and one's chasing. Well, you can't say that in polite company, but. Anyway, we've got to go. You can catch me here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on air, and Saturdays. Of course, Michelle and I are here with the Gray Zone Uncensored. But remember, guys, when it comes to the Gray Zone, if you don't catch us on Saturday, the only place you can hear it again is as a member of Podbean or as a member of YouTube. It's pay for listen only after that. A lot of good stuff. We talked about a lot of different things. We got into Easter pretty in depth this time around. Michelle was bad, made me talk about stuff that I shouldn't have been, even though I did incorporate it into the show somehow or another.
Begging for chocolate, I suppose.
Even she was amazed how I incorporated one particular subject.
Okay.
I will have to go listen to it to find out.
Yeah. You see me always trying to reel Joe in. No, that never happens.
It can get a little bit crazy on Saturdays, but it's always an information-packed subject.
Crazy.
But yeah, Michelle does a
That's all
ton of
on you.
research. Yeah, so there's always a ton of facts involved with everything we're talking about. We go way back and we come all the way back up to the present time. So anything that we're talking about, you get both the past and the future, or I should say past and the present. So it's just really just good research, and we play around in between the research because there's a lot of stuff to cover. And we talk about other things that may be going on this week. We're going to be talking about some scary, hairy stuff that come in. No, I'm not telling y'all what it is because every time we post a show early, we see it posted. Like 8 other people do our show. I'm like, no, we're not doing it anymore. No, wow. We actually, I'm not kidding you. We posted a year's worth of shows, and within 2 months, half the shows we've seen coming out on other networks we're basically following our program line. I was like, yeah, that's sweet. You know, I mean, yeah, we got big audiences, but that's just cheesy, people. Get your own damn shows. Your own damn guests. Stay off our guests. Anyway, I'm just kidding. We're going to get out of here now. Don't forget, coming up next is Laura Lee Poplin with the Angel Rocker. Not sure who our guest is tonight. She has let Dell out the cage, so that is a plus. Up. Oh, she might be coming to get him in the cage. I hear the dog. On that night, guys and girls, we got to go. Thanks for everyone tuning in at Public Radio.
Thank you.
Paranormal Talk.
Night.
Dun, dun.